litigated, I was able to predict with certainty the justices that would overturn that decision. And I was able to say that that decision will be taken, it will be thrown back to the states to decide. And I was able to point at least 3 or 4 justices that I felt would go this way. And I was able to look at the other justices that I felt would 90%, if not 100% correct. So that is where you could predict with certainty. But the Nigerian judiciary sometimes is difficult to predict. And I say this with no sense of pride. I say this, I cover myself, my face, and my nose, especially when I say these things, especially as a lawyer. It's shameful. But if you look at the decision that came out just a few days ago, where a court is giving a judgment that INEC has the discretion to upload result at polling units, the last decision that came, is shameful because the Electoral Act is clear, and even the INEC guidelines.
Max, please, I want to ask a question. In a case whereby people judgment has been granted, like the last one right now, and no vex, if you can meet, bro. Judgment has been granted, and the court order has not been followed, what is the next course of action?
So there's first of all, we need to. I was going to this point because it's almost INEC has refused to comply with the order. I think the Electoral Act. So clearly, what has happened is contempt of courts. But again, this is the reason why when I started talking, I was talking about the uncertainty in the Nigerian judiciary. Again, we don't know how the court will want to treat it. We don't know what the court will want to do. It's shameful. As a lawyer, I can't even say with certainty what will happen. But basically, what has happened is that INEC is in contempt, and the officer the wrath of the court. So the Labour Party lawyers will now have to go to the courts and then report back.
Okay, thank you very much, bro. I just wanted to get context. Because man, this one I don't even know. I'm just
I don't think we have a problem of reach, or if we're going to ever, get to the point where we've probably sanitized the whole country. And I mean, the Peter Obi message is time to come heavy on INEC after several months. I also remember, and Saddam, you know that me and you now, we are bros. I'm not even trying to, I'm just trying to build up something. I also remember when...
No, it's understandable. Mahmoud as well at the time was making lofty promises on public record. So you...
My sister, Saddam, let's continue.
You go to remember from there, you go jail. You will remember to jail. You will remember. I only remember that your jail door.
They should try to remember.
Because it's your birthday. You know what people know? I will tell them.
We remember.
Sister Saddam, shut up.
Wait. I have to drop you down because our guest. Where they are continue.
Okay. So I'm to Yimu where I was. It's in Yoruba. I am one person that I see Nigeria and our leaders as a totally failed state. I'm not trying to, if someone offers me 100 million naira, I had was in Peter Obi and is still in Peter Obi. And you know, everything you guys were saying then, hailing Buhari, oh, he has done that, I was just looking at you people that, is it the same Buhari or it's another Buhari you guys are talking about? Now we've gotten to the point where the judiciary is now in play and we are making the same mistake of actually trusting or believing that these people will actually do the right thing. See, in my mind, the judiciary is not going to do the right thing. Like I said a few weeks ago, that I personally believe that our movement is not natural. The obedient movement is not natural. So for me, the belief that I have that Peter Obi is going to take back his mandate is not based on the efficiency of the judiciary. It's actually based on the fact that, you know, when you just know something, that's how I feel. I didn't have a dream. To think that these people will act in our okay, so I was talking to my dad. They had to call for a re-election. Now, I didn't go in depth, but what I saw was...
You mean presidential election, right? Not
presidential election, yes.
Okay.
So that's what he was saying, that there's no way. And so, you know, this old man now, once they try their best, if he has given up, like he's like, maybe. I had to tell him that I was trying to make, you know, and he was like, for us to get 6 million, whatever votes we are. But I was like, Daddy, we will get this thing back. That was just we will get it back. And I had to make him understand that I hope you know that the 6 million votes was second, and I believe APC was distant third.
Yeah,
I
they
saw Kenya
they turn it around.
2017, right? Straight up, because I already know they are going to fail.
There are very powerful people in this movement. But you don't expect us to come here and start bashing Buhari. You understand? And this is also politics. So don't take everything at face value too. Our competition are here. So we'll come in and bash Buhari, bash Buhari, bash Buhari. We would come here and say Buhari is obedient. Buhari intends to give us a good election. And with that, you then have a plan, especially when you've had Buhari and the APC in. Okay, now Peter Obi has called for calm. You seem like a more gingered type of obedient. Power is nothing without control. So I understand your sentiment. I understand your energy. I get where you're coming from, but please, like we also encourage, a foreigner, we won't come here and just go. Oh, we are trusting Ahab. Nobody ever said Ahab was obedient. Ahab last, in true Ahab fashion, showed us his ballot paper. He did not. And I need you, let me just end this here. Please understand, we have guests, they're on the floor, they are listening. So let's try and make this discussion a bit more welcoming for the kind of energy they're about to bring. God bless you, and I hope you understand what I'm saying, and I spoke respectfully. Continue. You have 30 seconds to finish your submission.
I want to say this. See, the thing about INEC is no one believes INEC was competent, but we kept saying it on Spaces, because if you're telling people that want to go out and vote that, man, don't even waste your time partaking in this process, then nobody will come out to vote. So
yeah, we could end up
some of the things, like but there's something Saddam has even sent to me right now that we can't say on the Space. We cannot, because not because we buy or believe in the system, but there's a it's part of being emotionally intelligent also, where you have to find a way to read the room and we don't want to sell fear and doomsday, because the people who are sat at home. If I told people, man, hey man, there's a probability I never not upload the previous result, do you think people will have gone out to vote? No. So
okay, tell me, we had security reports that the election was going to be violent. We had security reports. If we had come here every day and drummed on the violence and the plans of the APC and the little pockets of gatherings, we have received information that they are gathering this, that. You for come out, come vote. You for come out, come vote that day. You for come out, come vote. So we will be here and telling you, come out to vote. There will be things like this. The police is there. The police has promised this one. Is that not what you would say? Do you understand me? So please understand the balance. It's politics, but there's also a very volatile nation at the precipice of chaos and anarchy. And all of these things must be navigated properly. Please, I beg you. I hope you understand what I'm saying. You have your 30 seconds.
Okay. I don't remember trying to call for people. I was talking on a personal basis, and I was saying what I felt about the entire thing. So I don't understand. I don't think I hold the power to tell people to do whatever, and all. Like I said, I don't trust them. I just believe, I just know that at the end of the day, whatever they will do, he will still reclaim his mandate. And lastly, I think we should allow people to be in the obedient movement. I really think we should. I really think we should. People have put in work. People were there before some of us joined. And I think we should just let them be. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for your submission. God bless you. Yes, we would let them be. Day two, like we have said, the space button is free. They are also free to open their space button. Till today, I've not seen Chude do space with Frank Weke Jr. You know, you'll be thinking that Aisha will be doing space with these people. So me too, I'm confused. Like I said, it go pay me if they know they cash out all this thing where then they do. LP all the way. We are here. We are doing what we do for this movement. Like I repeat, the space, open space button is free. Elon gave it to everybody. Push your own side of the movement. We'll push our own side. You can support your cock and chicken. You can support your rain boots, support your condom, raincoat, anything that is the emblem of your political party. Push it. We love you all. We meet at the poll. Baba, you never see some kind logos. You never see logo. Logo Yampia now. So vote for any free, but we stand by Labour all the way. Mama, Papa, Pikin, may no heart. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much, N6. Thank you. Otumba, happy birthday, my guy. Temi, thank you for
happy birthday, Temi.
Yeah, today is his birthday.
So now give her a banger now. Temi is the day one. Yeah.
No, it's for our church. For our church, they play birthday song.
Oh, let me Paul.
That one a church of Scientology.
No, celebrate at the end. We have Honorable Chijioke here, and we have to. I don't know how we're going to do this. I think we have to bring in a co-host from Enugu. I don't know how we're going to do this stuff. Right?
Yes, let's do that. I'm volunteering to drop.
Okay, please. Just join us at the speakers. Let's get a co-host on the Enugu side.
Because my Enugu people, please request. This space is for Enugu people. Please, if you're not from Enugu, honestly, at this point, there's no some questions. Except, I think please also put your comments in the section. And please, it's also not just questions. So ask for how we can help his campaign too. So please, it's not just about grilling and grilling. We need to also help.
Yes, I wanted to add this. With all due respect, these are Labour Party candidates. These are brave people who believed in this movement as early as many of you. Table your questions in a manner that if they even fall short, they can also learn from you as much as you can learn from them. It is not a fight. It is not a war. They are not the reason Enugu is upside down or Nigeria is the way it is today. So please let your questions come with respect and also be able to ask your questions in a way that they can answer the question the way you want it answered. All right. Some of you have certain questions, but you ask it in such a way that it comes off as agitational or whatever. Please, let's all be respectful on the space today. I love you all and let's have a great session. God bless you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Real quick, please, can you have everybody retweet this space right now so we can get a lot of people here because some people want to be reminded when it comes on. So please. Let's retweet and retweet and retweet.
Thank you very much, my brother Big Mac. Thank you for that. Guys, please share the space, retweet the space. The next governor from Enugu is here on the platform with us. If you missed Thursday, you're welcome here today. He's here with us. Barrister Chijioke Edeoga is here. Sir, if you can hear me, can you? Oh, I think he's dropped, so he's going to come back. Please request the mic.
Let me drop as well so you can bring up Enugu people. I'll be back later.
All right, please. Thank you, my brother. So guys.
Saddam, I think you can drop me as well too. I wanted to talk about Nasara, but we'll do that later.
We'll do that. I think he's time with us without we will spend a few hours with him. After this space, we'll have reactions. So please, all of us are speakers, please. No offense. We have to drop everybody. We're going to come back up. As we've done for the violence space now. Let's just have the space for our Enugu people. Let us discuss these issues A whole lot of stuff we want to ask. If you want to comment, you can join us in the comment section. But please, you guys know it's our platform. We're always going to come back here for these discussions. Please, 042, strictly 042. Let us have an 042 show today. 042, hit me up in the comment sections. Let's have your questions. Let's have your submissions, what you want to say to the man. He's here. He's going to engage you guys. He's going to have the interactive section with you guys. So please feel no offended if I drop you guys. I'm sorry, but that's what we have to do for the next few hours. Thank you very much. All right,
Saddam,
if you can.
Saddam. Yeah, sorry, I'm about to drop. So I would like you to ask him when he comes, if he too has started the process to get a court order to allow INEC, to mandate INEC to transmit results from the polling unit. I think that question is too important for all the candidates.
All right. Please, my brother, just put on for right in a beg. You know, say as this place begin hot now, my head just go off the cliff. I might even forget.
No, I'll send out for DM. No,
yeah, send to me DM. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Who's that?
I mean, it's Gaboni. I have a question for Mr. Edeoga, for Pastor Edeoga.
You're not from Enugu now. This is Enugu space, my brother. And please, you can keep your comments and let you ask him later. I beg. And please, let's have Enugu people. Let Enugu do the talking and the questioning for now, please. It is open for all obedient, but right now, let us take Enugu people first, please. It's going to be open for every other obedient. You can always come back and ask your questions. But let me bring him up. He's back on the platform. So we'll be dropping all the speakers right now, and let's just have our guest for now. So please, if you're from Enugu, please, guys, please, if you're not from Enugu, I will beg of you to please do not request the mic for now. If you're not from Enugu, please do not request the mic for now. We have close to 50 requests right now. So let us try and make sure that we take up speakers from Enugu. General Snow, I've sent you the co-host mic. I think you're from Enugu. So General Snow, if you can request the co-host mic, please do so right now. Let us start up the space. Well, okay, sorry, please. Let me bring this. Okay. Mbadike, I've sent you the co-host mic. Please, can I request? Can you check? Mbadike, can you check, please? All right. If Mr. Chijioke, if you can hear me, please, you can unmute your mic and speak. Can you just unmute your mic and say hi?
Hi, Chijioke is here.
All right. Good evening, sir. How are you doing today, sir?
Very fine, thank you.
Okay. Our principal was with you yesterday.
Yes. It was great. It was good. Well received outing. It was great.
If you could give us a little bit feedback of how many places you guys taught together, how it went. Let's warm up the room while we invite other people. Please.
Okay.
All right. Mbadike, please, you can mute.
Are you there?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
She came in about 9:30, 10, and then had a stopover somewhere on the express road, Federal Express. And we met up with him, myself, and the Labour Party governorship candidate for Abia, Alex Oti. The HE was accompanied by Barr, the national chairman of the party, and then a few other persons. Senator Victor Ume, the senator-elect for Anambra State, one of the zones in Anambra State. And our party were quite huge. All the LP officials in the Enugu State and a lot of LP partisans and the media people. So we met up with him, and from there went to the home of the slain, would have been senator of our senatorial zone, Barrister Lucky Chukwu. On the road, we had one or two stopovers at the place where they call a koto. A koto is a road that passes or straddles the home of Senator Jumobo on the right, the home of Ken Namani on the left. So it's quite a popular stop and quite populous. So we stopped there, and reception was quite impressive. Immediately, people realized that Obi was in town, was about there. They surged in their numbers and were greeting him. And he just waved briefly and then moved on to Agbani. Agbani is the home of quite some key politicians in Enugu State also. It's now become a growing suburb of Enugu, or so to say, an outskirts of the Enugu urban, because there are a lot of activities there. The law school is there, ASUT is there, the Air Force School is there. So there's quite some activity in Agbani. So he also stopped over there and was received warmly by the traders and businessmen and staff of various agencies that line up the road. So from there, we went to Amore. Amore is the home of Senator Ibo Chukwu, who was killed just about 3 days to the election that would have made him a senator of the Federal Republic, or incoming. It's also the home of his younger brother, Barrister Kelvin Chukwu, who was elected to replace his brother. So the Ibo family were there in a number, and then other persons from around that area and from within, traditional rulers, men of God, political pundits, politicians from all parts, all shades and opinions, from APC, from PDP. They were there to welcome our incoming president by the grace of God. So he condoled with the family and then moved on to other places, maybe Anambra State, maybe Abia. I'm not sure because I didn't accompany them out of Enugu. That's it, but it was good, quite brief, quite fast-paced, but impressive. And I think it was well received, judging from the responses from what was put out by the media. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Before Mbadike, welcome on the platform. You're from Enugu.
Your Excellency, you're welcome on the platform.
All right, Mbadike, please, you do us the honors of bringing. I know you know your Enugu people more, so you can see them down on the comment, the request line. You can bring up all the people that will be asking questions. You can help in doing that. But sir, I want to ask you one question. Mr. Chijioke, if you can hear me, I want to ask you one question. This question, I don't know whether it's a propaganda or it is a reality, but it has been popping up in different quarters where I've been hearing people say this. So I want to ask you. People say you're from Nsukka and that you are the cousin to the current governor. I want to really know if this is real. I want you to tell people here, because this is what I've been saying, that you are the I don't call it rumors yet, but I think it's something that has been going on, and Enugu people here will tell you that yes, I've heard it from so many quarters. So please, sir, if you can tell us, is it true or is it false?
I'm from Enugu East Senatorial Zone. Governorship rotation in Enugu State happens on the basis of zones, senatorial zones. I am from Enugu East Senatorial Zone. Ifan Yuwan is from Enugu North Senatorial Zone. Sullivan Chime is from Enugu West Senatorial Zone. So there's a zonal rotation going on. Sullivan Chime from Enugu West Senatorial Zone. Cultural backgrounds. It's true. East Senatorial Zone, who have Ogui extraction. The people who are not from Enugu State, Anambra, Abia, Imo, Ebonyi, Northerners, Westerners. That is the zone where everyone aggregates. So we don't, the rotation is not based on cultural issues or cultural identities. Rotation is based on zone. Senatorial zone. I'm absolutely not a relation of Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. We're absolutely not related at all. There's absolutely no relationship at all. So we're not related. All that issue of relation arises from the fact that his mother comes from Ubolo Eke, where my mother also comes from. But there's absolutely no blood relationship. And before 1997, I never knew him. He was more of a friend of my younger brother, who was also his colleague at UNEC. On the basis of their friendship. So it was my brother who introduced me to him in 1997 when I was leaving Lagos to come home to run for the chairmanship of my local government. And we became friends. It is based on the senatorial zones. And then I don't even see, cousin relationship is something that you don't look at twice. If I'm really his brother in either way, the way he treated me in the run-up to the PDP primaries does not exhibit any iota of brotherhood. The callous and casual manner with which he treated me does not show there is brotherhood. Brotherhood is not something you just talk about. Brotherhood is expressed in action. So we're not brothers. We are friends. We used to be friends. I'm not sure whether we are still friends, but we're not related. Thank you.
All right, sir. I want to ask a question. I am very interested in, give us the gist. You see, we were the young people. When we ask you, I saw pictures of you and Peter Obi, you are giving them in Enugu State. Talk to us like young people. How the waka go? Who na see people come out, then helu na, right now, let me explain why I'm asking this question so you can use it as a sub-context. Currently in the obedient movement, especially in Enugu State, there has been a lot of divisions over other candidates. So some people are obedient, but they want this person. There's some people and walked around with, legitimizing your stand. So how was that? Give us the full gist in about 5 minutes.
You see, we have been around here for quite some time, building the Labour Party, really putting it on the ground, really instituting it, really putting it in the minds of people through various mediums or medias. On the ground, creating the structure, creating the persons who make the party work. On the radio, jingles, billboards, campaigns out there, telling the people what Labour Party presents. And when it mattered most, we stood behind P2B. We stood with him. We stand with it, with all his strengths and his weaknesses. The APGA candidate has his presidential candidates with strengths and weaknesses. The APC has each presidential candidate. And the candidates all along have campaigned on this basis. So all these deliberate that there's a division within the obedient family, division on what basis. So all these efforts to a track record of what obedient who represents for the governorship, who represents the values that I didn't think there was anything to worry, and I don't think there's anything to worry up to now.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Guys, please, if you're up on the platform and you want to ask questions, please, your questions should be straight to the point. We have over 50 people requesting for the mic that want to ask questions also. So please, indulge us by your hands should be up. Raise your hands up so we can take a queue for people asking questions. And also, please, one question.
Please, if you ask more than one question, I will cut you. I beg you. Today is not that day. Come in, all protocols observed, ask your question, and it will be answered. Any preambles, anything more than one question, I will mute you and drop you. God bless you as you comply.
Thank you. So please, guys, if you're up on the platform, your hands are not up, we have to drop you for other people to come up and ask questions. That's how it's going to be done, so we can allow enough people to ask questions. Thank you. All right. I think I'm going to start with the first hand I see up here, and that is, I think, Engineer Didu Ugu. Kesley says,
Kesley. Engineer Didu. Engineer Didu, thank you very much, Saddam. My governor, I thank you for coming here. I'll call you my governor because I see you as one. I think we are winning this battle. My question will come like this, my governor. You know about Uzowani and the rice production in Uzowani. And up till now, that rice production in Uzowani is not the way it used to be due to insecurity and other vices. And maybe people are not getting enough support so that they can invest in the right production in Uzowani. Me as a person, my governor, I tell you, if you can make that place in Uzowani to work again, I would like to invest. I would like to come back because it's one of Labour Party's, what do you call it, manifesto or what? Moving from consumption to production. We really need to get Enugu youths into production so that at least most of them can leave the streets. Most of them can be productive with their destiny. Please, I want to know, will you be interested in doing that? Reviving Uzowani and the rice production there. Thank you.
You mean the other rice?
Definitely. I will be interested in reviving the other rice. I have emotional connections to Uzowani. Uzowani is the place that I did my secondary school. It was partly Uzowani, partly in Soka. I think Bodogu is now in Uzowani, where I did my secondary school. And we used to go down to Adani. Then it was a big place. And lots of people who have now gone to Anambra State used to live there. So it was, and they all worked in that other rice, and it was quite big. Now I noticed that in the course of my service to the outgoing government, there are quite some feeble attempts were made to do something about other rice. But I always had a sense that it was not focused enough or sharp enough to, the intensity was not brilliant enough to get the results that we should get from Uzowani. I think at the point it was privatized, one to a Catholic priest, then again to somebody from my local government who answers Alhaji, who goes by the term Alhaji. So there's a bit of unseriousness in about how the government has responded to Adani, to other rights. And then there's also the insecurity, because in the course of my campaigns, we went there, we went to other rights, we went to Gurugu, we went to Iga. So the insecurity has become a problem. And herdsmen menace is also a problem, because you plant whatever you plant overnight, herdsmen will come, cows will come, and everything goes. So the issues of insecurity, the issue of the menace of cows, the issue of lack of intensity that place requires on the part of government, and the combinations that have made that place not to be as good as it ought to be. Not only at other rice, there are also other rice belts made that place not to be in the Hamuku area, in the Aniri area, the Amagun area, which we are going to really focus upon. And as a matter of policy, to make sure the rice production and related value chains are emphasized upon, enhanced, and supported. So yes, the answer is yes. For obvious reasons, we are going to make sure that other rice and other rice producing areas come up on stream. We're going to focus on that. There's somebody in that agric area who is quite vast, who quite knows what to do. The important thing, what I notice as important is appointing people who know into those areas, and things will begin to happen differently. So the answer is yes. I'll focus on Adani. Also, as other rice, and other rice producing areas, and other cashew producing areas, and other areas where palm trees will thrive, and other related agri things like poultry and piggery and fishery is part of the plan I have, part of the Edeoga plan to put Enugu State, get Enugu State working again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Saddam, please, I just want to ask him one question, please. Mr. Edeoga, I just have one question. We've talked mainly about how we are going to give the urban areas water, drinking water, potable water. But I don't think I've heard you talk about the rural areas. How are you going to make sure that the rural areas, I remember growing up those days, I'm from Ako. I remember growing up those days, we have potable drinking water in Ako. But today, it's borehole everywhere. So, and for, you know, to dig a borehole is not a small something. So how are you going to make sure that the rural communities have potable drinking water? That's my question for you.
Thank you. In the context of my discussion, or maybe of what I'm going to do about water in Enugu Urban, I remember that I mentioned that day that other areas like in Soka, they don't have the problems that Enugu has. Enugu has a coal issue that makes most of Enugu impossible to have boreholes. There's no other thing to do except to do. So in the entire Soka area, the entire Enugu North area, I've asked questions. They don't have issues with boreholes. So boreholes, water can be gotten from the boreholes, and they'll be viable. What the problems are is the nature of the contract terms and the contractors, and then the underhand dealings, I guess, that attends giving awarding of contracts, and then maintenance issues arising from emphasis on diesel as a means of powering the boreholes in many areas. So when the issue is what I'm going to get out of this work, not the values that you want to confer on communities, you end up doing boreholes that are very shallow. You end up doing boreholes that are not proceeded by relevant studies, geological studies, that shows you the exact depth you are going to go in order to get water. That's something that prevents you, and other things that prevents you from having arrangements that makes those boreholes sustainable, and makes arrangements for replacements and repair when the need arises. So the Edeoga plan for water in rural areas will ensure that proper studies are done, that the contracts are supervised, that contract terms contain, that the terms of contract contains lines that imposes on the contractor responsibility of maintenance or repair over a period of time, that transfers ownership or control of the boreholes that I will construct. Ownership will be transferred to persons who are carefully chosen by communities, and they will run those things and make money from running, selling the water, with which they will use to maintain the boreholes. And then we are going to de-emphasize borehole or diesel. We are going to de-emphasize diesel as a means of powering those boreholes. We are going to emphasize solar. If you use solar, the cost of maintaining those boreholes will reduce. If you hand them over to persons that communities have chosen, either permanently or on a lease, the issue of maintenance, repair, and maintenance and control will be addressed. So I have a plan for rural areas. The plan can only be that we are going to do boreholes, because water harvesting in almost the entire state, except Enugu ban or Enugu, the Enugu area is not difficult. It's easy to access water. What we are going to do is to work around the problems that we have noticed over time with regards to boreholes in rural areas. One is who looks after it. Two is the nature of the contract and the contract terms. So if we work around those ones, water will be available. Another one is transiting from diesel to solar as a means of powering the boreholes we are going to do. If we work around these problems that I've outlined, then I think that rural areas will be served substantially by boreholes we are going to do in the course of my administration. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I don't, Dike, I don't know if you're satisfied with that answer.
Yes,
Let's move on
yes,
to the next
I am.
questions.
I am. Yeah,
All right, thank you. Okay, Emmy Sias.
Yes, I'm
Easy or
here.
no, please.
Thank you very much.
No vex,
all right.
no key on name, eh?
No wahala. All protocols duly observed. Let me jump straight to it. Honorable Chijioke Edeoga, you are what somebody can call a career politician. You have been a local government chairman 26 years ago. You have been in the House of Reps. You have been, I believe, a commissioner for 2 terms under the current governor. You contested the PDP primaries, which eventually produced Peter Barr. And I am aware that after Peter Barr was produced by that primaries, yourself and other candidates who lost that primary election had at least 2 meetings with Peter Barr. There are pictures of it I have seen. There are reports there where he promised an all-inclusive government to you and other people who participated in that primaries but lost. But somehow along the line, the Labour Party opportunity came out and you jumped at it. So now, would you have been in Labour Party? Wouldn't you have been in PDP still if that primaries went in your favor? And again, Enugu has been poorly managed in the last 7 years. It has been very disastrous.
Please, you heard the instruction on this platform. You're asking a question, what we have. Done about
let me finish in of your governorship, seeing that the problem with government under which Enugu sunk so low that Ebonyi State has overtaken Enugu in terms of infrastructural development. Thank you.
Thank you. Your question is laden with values. You say I jumped at Labour tickets. I was here a few days ago. I told you clearly I didn't jump at Labour tickets. I was actually pleaded with. I was actually asked. The pressure on me was enormous. For over a month and a half, the pressure was on me to come and take the Labour tickets. And when I was running PDP, if actually you live in Enugu State, it was clear. It was clear by all POP, all analysis, all interviews, every indication that I was a candidate that was preferred by a preponderance of Enugu State people. And when the primary was clearly and evidently manipulated, and monies exchanged hand before the primaries, and I was attacked physically in a place where I should be most secure, and people were positioned to oversee where people voted. The next side that should have been done in secrecy. I looked at it.
Is it just me?
No, I think he has network issues.
Probably a call came in.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, please, you can send your questions to the comment section. You will do well if you could add the Vawulence Peace hashtag to it, so that I can we'll read your questions, we ask your stuff for the question. Sir, we lost you totally, so I think you have to start afresh.
Okay, are you hearing me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on, sir.
I said that after I lost the PD primaries, there were several reasons on the basis of which I could have complained. For instance, the environment in which that primary held, the physical and verbal abuse on my person was an evidence of a lack of compliance with what a primary should be. The close monitoring, which several persons captured on video, the close monitoring, the supervision of the delegates where they voted was also something that was not in compliance with the normal electoral systems. It was organized to impose an outcome. The public knowledge of the huge sums of money with which the delegates were induced, those things were in the public domain. They have not been denied. But I decided not to quarrel or make any force out of it, because the idea was really, let us work towards an Enugu state where all of us will contribute our best. But then several things happened. One of which is that we waited for the PDP, for instance, to make a statement on the public humiliation of my person. The chairman of the PDP is from my local government, the state chairman. If Enugu, the governor, was properly briefed of the assault that was extended to me by Chijioke Namani, I thought that maybe the PDP, because really, I'm a founding member of the PDP. There's no other person in that government, not Enugu, not the state chairman, not any other person who was before me in PDP, not even Chijioke Namani. I am a founding member. The day the PDP was constituted by Igbo leaders using PRF and then moving to Abuja to integrate it to form the PDP, I was part of it. Even the background activities that Alex Ekweme organized, I was a part of it. So I'm a founding member of the PDP. And I thought that the PDP or the governor should make a statement on what happened to me on the day that I should be most in an environment that PDP organized, and my safety also be guaranteed. That did not happen. I also, secondly, a few days after that victory, that's what was said to be a defeat of Chijioke Edeoga, who was clearly the preferred candidate in Enugu State. The governor of Enugu State arranged that the people of my local government, issues of local government, should come and thank him, appreciate him for the manner I was defeated, creating the impression that Edeoga had no electoral value and was even derided or not welcome in his local government. There are several other things that I don't want to go into, which had personal nature, coupled with the fact that pressures where people who saw what happened in the run-up to the primary knew that I was preferred by Enugu State, everybody in Enugu State. And the fact of the matter is that my exit from PDP has precipitated the fall of PDP. And anybody who is saying it to the contrary is entitled to his own feeling. But I said it clearly, it's obvious that immediately I left PDP, in the eyes of all reasonable people in Enugu State, that PDP, that party lost value. And immediately I entered Labour Party in response to several pleas and calls that it was a moment. Immediately I entered LP, the fortunes of that party began to rise. People can say any other thing, but that's the truth. So the clear preference of my person in Enugu State is not in doubt. And I'm preferred, obviously, not because I have been a typical kind of politician. You don't ascribe those things you ascribe to normal position to me. I don't double deal. I don't double talk. I know, you know where I stand on issues. I'm courageous on issues of integrity and ethics and values. Even when I was in government, I spoke my mind. Was contributions in ESCO, Executive Council, well, I should not begin to talk about them here. But I am also certain that I made definite contributions to policy. And lots of what happened, the substantial part of them, had my input, my imprimatur. And immediately I also left that government. I said it before, that things began to shake. And I don't think the government, if I realize government, has recovered from my exit without being modest. So it's true, I've been in public service. Is a public service the best thing that one can do in Nigeria. But the taints that attend, the tag that is attached to people who have in public service are not ascribable to me. You cannot say, oh, I stole money. You cannot say, oh, I double talk. I'm a hypocrite, or I'm a psychophant, or anything, any of those things. I'm not a land grabber. So what is it? Public service is good. Public service is the best service one can do. And you can be in public service without being a thief. You can be in public service without pushing out forged documents. If you push out a forged document and you're a public servant, you resign, you quit. So I don't manipulate the system. I don't game the system. I didn't steal. I'm not burnt down any public infrastructure because I'm trying to cover my tracks. Yes, I've served the public over the years, but I've served with exemplary courage and integrity and transparency. And my records can be verified. So that is it.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on real quick. Anka Dede. Anka Dede, good evening. How are you doing today?
I'm doing perfectly well. Thank you, Emir Saddam. And welcome, Honorable Chijioke Edeoga, to this violence space.
I think, sorry, Anka Dede, please. I think, honestly, I need to introduce you. I'm not meant to do this, but I have to do this, sir. So this lady here that's about to ask you a question is, she's one person, 1 million people. She single-handedly funded a whole lot of projects in Enugu, a whole lot of stuff of the structure that is happening on ground, a whole lot of those 1 million matches. I cannot say much, but I also have to let you know of the person that's about to ask you a question. So any question she asks you, whether it's from a deep place of love, she's one of those people that I can stand and say is pro-LP. But I want to hear what she wants to say. Well, Anka, I have to give you your flowers before you speak to your governor. I beg. Go on.
Thank you so much, Emir Saddam, Prophet Saddam, Professor Saddam. I hail you. Honorable Chijioke Edeoga. My name is Ifeyinwa. Let me say this, Amadi Davis. Davis, because I'm all American now. But Amadi, I'm from Ako, in Nsukka area. So I am 042. What a lot of people don't know about Enugu is that Enugu Metropolis is not the only 042. Nsukka is also 042. Our home phone number 2 at Nsukka was 042. That said, I will digress a little bit. Sizu, just give me this because he talked about water supply especially in Nsukka area. Please speak somehow to, even if you don't speak to it, have it at the back of your mind, the elephant project called Adada Dam, because of Adada River. That could have supplied a lot of water for that area. It was of Jim Nwobodo era when he was governor of Anambra State. I don't know what happened to Adada Dam or Adada project, but my question really from last time you came around on Thursday is around rural areas. You've already alluded to it. So it's not a question, but rather I want to say to you that this will be my yardstick to measure your performance. Rural roads, especially in the agric areas, you already mentioned not only Ada rice and Fadama rice and the Songhai rice or activities of Father Ede. But all those other areas, Enugu State is predominantly agricultural area. But the rural roads, that's my problem, that we do not have rural roads. Could we hold you in your 4-year tenure what the outcome of those rural roads would be, so that rural areas will partake in your administration and not just Enugu Metropolis? Last Thursday, we dwelt on Enugu Metropolis. I have nothing against Enugu, but how would you take care of the rural areas? That's my question. Since we have only one question to ask, thank you. And I wish you the best in your campaign. I'm LUP all the way. LUP 75, LUP 80, LUP top to bottom. Thank you. I yield my mic.
Okay. Thank you. Once I heard that Amadi name, I guess you are from Akko.
Yeah, thank you, my sister. Ibochi.
Go on.
I need the truth.
Well done.
So thank you. Once I heard the Amadi prefix, I guess you are from Akko. There are actually two questions in one. You mentioned the Adada pipe water and pipe drill. You know, I went to Adada Secondary School. By the time Jimubo decided that project, that river was huge. It could sustain water being piped from there to Soka. Since then, what has happened over the world with regards to environment has really considerably shrunk that river. It's no longer as big as it used to be. I don't think that you can sustain that dream again. Over time, they have tried to put pipes and run around trying to act as if something big was going to happen with regards to piping water from Adada. I think it's just people putting money on things they have not properly investigated. So we're going to walk around. We're going to look for other ways, alternative ways of supplying water to Soka and the environment. I mean, most likely they emphasize Adada. Then rural roads are an inevitable parts of what we must do. We must do to get people move freely, to get food transported from points of the farm areas to the points where the market areas. Rural roads really should be the function of local governments. The local governments have been stymied. They have been stopped from functioning, essentially because of a matter that everyone knows, that even President Buhari has become aware of and has done everything possible to stop. That is the interference by governors with funds that were sent from Abuja directly to LGAs. It's become a problem in Enugu State. It didn't start under Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. Even Sullivan Chime was turned into an act. Under Moroccan man, it was even worse, because it was in the sense that EFCC documents exist on how LGA funds were mismanaged. So, and it has become a culture and a tradition in LGA funds in such a way that affects negatively the reasons why LGAs exist, to address rural roads, address rural infrastructure, address rural healthcare. So the starting point for making sure that rural roads actually exist is that the funds that are sent to local government councils or the one areas by constitution should be left in the custody or for the use of those chairmen, whether they are elected or are appointed. They should be left for those people to run the lives of their people with. If governors, for instance, have the discipline to remove their hands and eyes from monies sent from Abuja, not only in Enugu State, but all over Nigeria, most places in Nigeria, there are only very few governors who have the discipline not to tamper with LGA funds. So if a governor, for instance, does not tamper with LGA funds, then, of course, he will have the strength of character, the strength or the basis on which he can push those governors those chairmen to task, set agenda for them, set tasks for them, and make sure that the monies sent to them are applied to those things. So rural roads are really matters that should be done by local governments. They become an issue because all over the state, those council chairmen are not doing what they ought to do with the monies that come to them from Abuja. There's a sharing formula. The governors and all those people take their own. The small that is left, the other one is left for salaries. The rest is just misapplied. So rural roads don't work. Rural healthcare don't work. Rural sanitation don't work. Nothing works. That's it. So what we are going to do is make sure that monies that are sent to Abuja to councils, to LGAs, that they are left for them, and they apply them to rural roads, and they apply them to rural infrastructure, apply them to rural hospitals, and the governor or the commissioner for local governments will remain a supervisor, a strict supervisor who is keeping them in line, making sure that the overall vision of the government are implemented across board, and those who don't perform are sanctioned. That's my approach for regards to rural roads.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. The next person that's speaking now, Otman Tochukwu.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Let me just clear the air on my name. I'm from Alagu precisely. My honorable and my incoming governor, it's my pleasure to be here. And allow me to call you the governor because in law, equity looks on that as done, which ought to be done. I'm certain by God's grace, you are going to be the next governor of Enugu State. My question is just, I wanted to ask two, but I've been tied to one question. So I'll just go straight to the point and ask my one question. What are your plans for youth inclusion in your cabinet? And not just as SAs and SSAs. How many slots of commissioner do you plan for the youth in your administration? Thank you, sir.
Yeah, the honest answer to your question is that in the choice of who is going to be what in the ministries or commissioners, I'm going to look at the individual first. The individual in terms of qualifications, individual in terms of track record, the individual in terms of cognitive experience. It is the individuals that will determine what and where. So if there are youths, if in the course of my campaign now, I don't even know because youth is a state of mind. So if there are young people who have done extraordinarily well, then of course they will come in. But to be honest, I cannot promise you now that this percentage must be definitely allocated to youths. If I say that, maybe I'll not be very honest, because I know that there's always a contentions about who gets what and from where. So I will look out to accommodate youths. I will look out to accommodate gender, women especially, given the law that specifies what must be done about women. But youth will be accommodated. There's also a sense in which grooming is helpful. So if you have somebody who is a youth who has done quite well in some places, and we think that he can function within our overall vision for government, we'll put him. But if he needs that, he must start stuff. They should start from somewhere, with an eye to gradually taking the person up over the years. Then we'll do that. But I'm going to make sure that youth, I like the energy of youth. Youths are going to be a veritable part of what we're going to do at all levels, as advisors, as a consultant, as chairman, as commissioners. But I don't think I will want to make a categorical assertion on percentage and this and that. But I will look out for youths, to encourage them, to groom them, to put them in line of their career projection. So that's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Chinedu Anichi. Can I ask you a question now? Chinedu, are you there? Okay.
I am there. Can you hear me now?
That's your question. Please go straight to the point. Thank you.
Please let me thank you. It's a privilege that I'm here. Please, I am Chinedu Anichi. I'm the 3 times past SSA to the serving governor of Enugu State. And I worked under Chijioke Edeoga as Chijioke was commissioner for local government when I was administrative chairman of Soka West. So it is not that just teleguiding me for questions. This place is for interaction. So I know Chijioke to have changed the system of local government, just as I attested. When I was a spiritual director to the governor's prayer crew, I used to attend masses in the government house. And I have seen Chijioke, and it's a Catholic liturgy that involves every dogmatic Catholic processes and prokinesis. And I have seen Chijioke. And from nowhere, some people came up, Chijioke, that you said that if you become the governor, you are going to remove the Eucharistic sacrament, that is the blessed sacrament, from all the churches. So I want to ask you, is this
propaganda? God.
So for those of us who have been with you, who even know that you married a Catholic, that you are a liberal Christian, those of us
from Enugu to America.
Only now, lack of internal.
Everywhere in Enugu State. The allegation is that you find you going. No, the situation is this. Governor Ifa something with which to hang Chijioke Edeoga, and he passed information to those who absorb it, to those who want to receive such information, that I watched. Money was arranged for bishops all over the country to come and consecrate it. I was there live. Person in charge of the government house, chaplain, he can attest to it. He's my personal friend. He likes me. Not too long ago, even in the midst of all this uproar, he saw me in a filling station and came to greet me and was warm to me. I'm liberal, as I've said. I worship in every church. I'm essentially a Christian. The body of Christ should be one. There should not be any division amongst us. My father told me, and I believe, and it's in the Bible, that the last word of Jesus Christ, that all should be one. Ecumenism is a word I learned even from my tender years with my father. One of the first English words I learned was ecumenism, ecumenist, that all should be one. And I have been one with everybody all my life. So this issue that they just brought up in Enugu, there was something that is disconcerting. But happily enough, majority of our people have distanced themselves from such campaign. They have demonstrated in churches, in markets, in schools, everywhere that matter came up. Our people have reacted vehemently to it. That is not necessary. Is not unlike us. It's not Enugu people. It's not Enugu-like to begin to discriminate on the basis of interdenominational faith. So I didn't say that I never said so, that I'm going to remove a sacrament. Why should I do that? I've not come to remove, I've come to add, I've come to augment. I'm going to remove and augment to make better. So I use this powerful forum that, and even in response to the question that asked by somebody who is really fond of me, to state categorically that the body of Christ is one. That Chijioke Edeoga is a Christian, does not discriminate. I will not discriminate. I will respect all the icons of the Christian faith, all their traditions, as far as to the extent that the governor should respect them. So my government is not about desecrating sepulchres or sacraments or desecrating worship places. I'm not into that kind of stuff. I'm far more elevated than that kind of thing. It's not what I want to do about at all. We want to bring good governance. We want to bring roads. We want to bring water. We want to restore transparency and credibility to governance. Those things can happen regardless of faith. If I do the Enugu roads, Christians, Muslims, Anglicans, Methodists will apply the Enugu road. If I pay pension and gratuity, it need to apply to everybody, whether you're Christian or Muslim or Catholic or Anglican. If I restore credibility, it's for everyone. If we do water, it's for everyone. Even animals who drink the water, not of human beings. So I'm grateful that Anisha brought it up. Happy that this platform has been provided, and I say that is not true. I didn't say so. I won't have said so, and I will not say so, and I will not do that. The church that he has built will remain. It will remain. That's the position for now.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for clearing the air. This is election season, and propaganda will always fly. Okay. Wednesday, Uzubechi. You have the mic now. Straight to the question.
Okay. Can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, go on, please.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. Sir, please, I need to be very honest with you. I've been very skeptical about you, and I have a friend that invited me to this space to come and ask you my question, but I'm not happy because the question has been limited to one, but then it's okay. I've been trying to, the question I've been trying to ask is based on environment, but then a lot of people have asked the question about environment, but then let me switch over to education. So my question will be, how will your government benefit the students and the teachers in terms of education and boost the educational level in education? In Enugu, because the integrity of teaching has dropped based on the poor payments of salaries and payment of late payments of salaries too, and for the students who have lost interest in education. So I want to know how you are going to restore education in Enugu.
It's a very valid question. We are going to provide leadership, and we are going to benchmark. If salaries are being paid late, we're not going to pay salaries late. We'll pay salaries when they ought to be paid. I don't think it's salaries that's the issue, because Enugu State teachers must be getting what others are getting nationwide. I think the scale must be the same thing. It's just a question of leadership and values, and the compromises that we have made that have not factored in the interests of students, school children, and refusal to appraise ourselves properly. If you start with the primary schools, the primary school system is in complete confusion. It's in utter confusion. You don't know who is running the school. You don't know whether it is the headman. You don't know who is. So there's complete confusion, even in the environment of the schools. There are so many things that need to be streamlined in the primary school system. beginning with even the environment, beginning with even the teachers' attitude to work. A substantial problem in Enugu State, in all sectors, is attitude to work. Teachers who are supposed to go to school, don't go to school. That is with regards to that one. Teachers don't go to school. When they go in their school, they don't pay attention to do with teaching. There's no supervision. If there ought to be supervisors who go to schools to make sure that teachers, headmasters come, and that work plans are presented to make sure that what ought to be taught is taught. So the environment is not good again. We have to work on the environment. When we're all growing up in the early 70s, public primary schools were beautiful, well laid out fields, properly delineated and properly fenced, not even with cement, but with trees. And the flowers grew everywhere. And students even knew the names of flowers. And at break time, you can just go and sit under a mango tree and relax. Now, the environment of our primary schools have been destroyed by the compromises that we made with regards to the educational system. There are several primary schools that are, if you go to a particular street now, or village, or town, or everywhere, several primary schools line up, maybe about 10, separated by about 10 steps, 10 kilometers, 1 kilometer or half a kilometer. So we have to realign the schools. We have to do what you call, we have to rework the schools in such a way that the numbers are worked on. There are too many of them. And if you go there, the students are not enough in any of the schools. So we are going to rework in such a way that there is a merger. And the private school system, there will be mergers. Teachers will be monitored to make sure that all the time, the environment will be upgraded, and the syllabus at the primary school system will be tweaked a bit so that there's some sort of relevance. Sciences are emphasized, and relevant education are emphasized, even at the primary school system. The environment must be upgraded. The teaching must be upgraded. The quality of teachers must be upgraded, because there's an issue now that where the proper training of teachers ought to happen is at the TTCs, and the TTCs have been wiped out. The colleges of education are not the best places to teach teachers. So much has happened with regards to the educational system that we must have to begin to take them one after the other. The primary schools will be replanned so that they look conducive and equipped so that boards, teaching aids, seats are available. Teachers must go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And those who excuse themselves must have good reasons not to do. So the government will de-emphasize the attendance of primary school teachers, secondary school teachers to functions that happen at school time. The syllabus will be upgraded and discipline will be maintained through supervision and punishment and proper remuneration. Secondary school system will also follow the same line, but the syllabus will be tweaked in such a way that sciences, technology, and relevant educations that is relevant to their life after school will be introduced. So we will streamline. The other aspect is the private sector. All over Enugu State, all over Enugu Urban, schools spring up anyhow. So the manner of approvals of schools will be looked at and reviewed so that there's a strictness applies to manner that schools are licensed, whether they are primary or secondary. We have to be strict on how they are licensed. In my plan, education has a key place. And I have made up my mind that when I become governor, there are going to be two ministries. One, a commissioner assigned to primary school and pre-primary, then one for post-primary, tertiary, and secondary and tertiary. That will give the necessary focus. And the personnel who we are going to appoint will be people who have the necessary values and necessary name recognition and his background and the cognitive experience to make sure that we bring value. So we are going to rationalize, because if you go to villages and everywhere, You see several schools that are not fully occupied. You see schools that are placed on the main road, by the main road, they are not fenced. So the students' attention are continuously diverted by blowing of horns. You see schools where they hold services, ceremonies, wedding, all sorts of things within a school compound, even when school should be going on. So some lot of discipline will be introduced in a manner primary schools are used or primary schools are treated in Enugu State. When people should be in school, absolutely, when I become governor, there's no wedding, there's no ceremony, whether social or otherwise, that will go on in a school compound that is owned by the government. So discipline will come in, supervision will come in, syllabus will be changed, remuneration may be looked at, and punishments will come when people don't go to school. For now, that's what we can just say, given the circumstances.
Thank you so much, sir. And
sorry, please, if you're not called to speak, please do not mute your mic and speak. Please, when we call you, you speak, please. Thank you very much. Let's try and keep an orderly house. If your hands are not up, we have an order in the house, please. Your hands should be up, and we pick from the people whose hands are up. Thank you. All right, nobody, back to you, please. I don't know who is going.
All right, thank you, sir. Ezra Namdi, your hands have been up. Can go on.
Yes, thank you so much. All protocols duly observed. Good evening, sir, my incoming governor. It's good to have you here. Please, I would like to take a few seconds to say a few things. Thank God you're here, because before now, you were almost buried online. And I want to make it some very few points clear, and I want to explain something about this space, particularly to you, sir. You see this space, in some days, it has as much as more than 20,000 people coming in just to listen to what is happening in this space. As far as both the obedient movement is concerned, this is the powerhouse of, I would say, the powerhouse of the obedient movement. And whichever narrative that is driven against an individual or created about an individual, no matter who, in this movement, in this space, and it is carried by this space, that narrative will have its effects down to the grassroots. And that is why when they said 4 people tweeting in a room, I believe with what has happened, we've been able to show them what 4 people online can achieve down in the grassroots. Every member of Enugu State, all the youths, every family in Enugu State, at least I know they have a youth in their family that has a States. At least I know they have a youth in their family that has a phone that is on Twitter or on Facebook. Made it clear that I started supporting you first. Because the enemy of my enemy is my legislate for the whole of Enugu State was just the obedient movement. He went there to abuse the movement and say all sorts of things. Even here, during the PDP primaries, I took it upon myself that even though your zone is seen as a dot. I said it. But because of that, I took it upon myself with you. And I've always said it on this space. P2B is the only person that told me to go and verify. So I find it very reluctant to campaign for any other person because Peter told me personally. Online and then the moment Peter said LP all the way, I spoke to a lot of people. I said, see, they want to kill, they want to bury you online. No? And most of these narratives, when it starts like a joke. And most of the people who are pushing this, and I'm happy to have you here. And I'm happy that you've come here to show the whole world that you are capable and that you are equal to the task. I'm not here to ask you a question. I'm here to secure tomorrow. Any question I ask you now, you will give a very perfect answer. And I'm sure the answer. I'm very good in English language. Even the one I don't know. And before you know it, will scale through. So I'm not here to ask questions because I know even when you get into government, we run a government of debt. Discuss about Frank. Frank is just a ploy I want from you going forward is that going forward, please, number one, we live in a state whereby for a road construction to be done, one big man needs to be living in that area, or one big man or one political godfather must come from that zone. This is the type of road construction we have seen in most parts of Enugu State. Please, your government, just like you said, should be a government of transparency, a government for the people. And even the zone that does not like you the most, if it is possible, let your government, you know, the place where most of these narratives have been driven from. Please, sir, by the time you get into office, we are not going to do the government of 95 to 5 or 98 to 2%. Over to the people. We are not afraid of getting people into power now, because we know that when you do not perform, it is these same people that campaign for you. It is this on this same space. Yes, thank you very much. It is on this same space that will come and shout that, please, it is not. When you eventually become the government, we want to have you on this space when during your free schedule in 1 year time, 2 years time. Let it be that you will still be accessible. Like now, you're not. And that is my submission. Thank you so much. And I yield.
Thank you. So much. Your advice is being accepted. Accept. Let me tell you something about highlights something a chief from Onwaro. That 98, 99 up to now. So when I went and I attend to people, when I was a presidential aide, when I was a commissioner for 7 years here, and nobody who came to my office was not attended to. What I did was to make sure that once you come, you write your name. Once you come, you write your name. And so long as, even today, I did it in my house. So long as your name is on that document, you'll be attended to before I leave that office. So that advice has remained with me and is going to go with me to the government house. And to de-emphasize the pressure on coming to government house to see me, I will make sure that engagement with people continues, is a continuum. My public engagement with people in their own places, in their own LGAs, in their own words, will become a very terrible part of my public, my service as governor. I will continuously engage on radio, on Twitter, and people end up in different wars, different villages to shake my hand. I saw people who had eye problems. throughout my tenure, there will be a health outreach. Properly manned, properly mobilized. I was in the minority. And then those jeeps were bought, and it became an object of the reason for a huge anger directed at us in that first term. And we took a lot of steps to divert public attention and to reduce the anger that was projected towards us. So there's money. Even if given what I think is management. If we are prudent, if we are prudent, if we going to, there's a lot of capital out there. At the international level, at the national expenditure. So we apply our money. So I was going to say that, I was saying that we have to orientate ourselves, our people, to realize that there's always a line, either in light there, or people who ask that these bodies be diverted to them. So I think that part of the big fight, the pushback you are getting against Chijioke Edeoga is from the vested interests who have concerned themselves over the years from receiving humongous amounts of money from the government house or from governments. And there's a sense in which they believe that Chijioke Edeoga may not play game. And people who go around, stand up overnight to go and endorse another person, people who go around and push out rumors. You know, these things are coming from people who are thinking that I'm not going to share money. If you don't share money to vested interests, big people in big houses, you know, there will be sufficient, there will be reasonable amount saved. For infrastructure. And infrastructure that have players for kickbacks to various interests. And these contracts go to the people who actually do the contracts, not to the politicians who might not pass them on to the people who do them. The layers will reduce. So Edeoga will be interested in removing the layers of corruption, that the pardons that make it look like as if a road will cost what it's not going to cost. We're also going to make sure that wealth is created gradually. Immediately, we cannot begin to create wealth. But over time, if we work with EDC and other relevant power stakeholders, and we tackle our power, immediately wealth will be created gradually. If we begin to do the plans we have for agriculture gradually with regards to poultry, palm trees, nurseries, agriculture in the various facets, poultry, piggery, tree, cashew, palm trees. Over time, we're going to grow wealth. But immediately, what we are going to do is to reduce the cost of government, reduce the pardons that attend government contracts, and run a minimalist government where even, for instance, the government house, under P2B, for instance, in the government house, it served just water and minerals and something, things that are easily affordable. In other government houses elsewhere, they serve crystal, the champagne, all those things. So from the government house, immediately, we're going to set the tone for absence of flamboyance. And we're hoping that it will trickle down. Money is saved from running a minimalist government will be applied to infrastructure. And gradually, we are going to begin to create wealth through agriculture, essentially, and through investments, encouraging investments from the Igbo diaspora, mainly, who want to come home. And by creating an environment that welcomes even those in Lagos, even those in Abuja, who want to bring money home. So that's in an unstructured way. That's just how my mind is working. But gradually, we're going to fight to.
Do you have your manifesto? If it is not online, can it be published? We have a platform, we have a website. If you could send it, let us have it up on the website. People can go there and download the manifesto. Do you have a written manifesto with the people of Enugu?
Even the manifesto is even here as I'm talking with you, because people have made a lot of issues around manifesto presentation. Let me tell you what happened. There was about 4 months ago, thereabouts, the the Chamber of Commerce invited us, and I said a few things taken from my manifesto. One was the Edeoga plan for water. Immediately, that plan was copied by somebody who is running for governorship at this point in time, without ascribing ascribing those things to me. The manifesto which I presented at the Chamber of Commerce said clearly that the theme of my listen is recharging the Southeast. The theme of my manifesto is recharging the Southeast with Enugu as a takeoff point. It embodied the holistic vision I have for the Igbo people, using Enugu as a takeoff point. Immediately, the same person who copied my water plan printed posters all over Enugu with just slightly modifying that title. And I knew that there was a danger of people who prance about on the media space copying original ideas from somebody who has given a thought over a long time to what needs to be done with governance. So I said, at the appropriate time, this document will be officially presented. At the appropriate time, the timing is my own. But I've campaigned in 260 or 240 words or thereabout in Enugu State. I've campaigned, and everywhere I have gone, pages of my manifesto have been made available to people. With regards to power, with regards to roads, healthcare, water, security, and these things have been consistent. So a manifesto exists. The issue is that I don't want to do a public presentation in a manner that others have done, because I don't think it's necessary. And anybody who has been following my campaign, which have been uploaded on YouTube everywhere, will see that there's a consistency in what my positions on water, electricity, roads, healthcare, primary school, secondary school, they are consistent. Hubs, Southeast position. So the manifesto exists, and they are public knowledge, because my statements have become public knowledge and public property. So it exists. There's a copy of it, even as I'm here on your program. The theme of my manifesto is recharging the Southeast, making the Southeast come up again, become viable again, become home again for all Igbos. With Enugu as a takeoff point, so Enugu will become the model through which become the arrowhead through which the Southeast will rebound. It encompasses my vision for collaboration with other governors of the Southeast. If I push it now, next thing somebody will say, I'm going to collaborate with the Southeast governors. He will not even have the experience or the knowledge which I have in government of why that collaboration should work or why it has not worked. But where the time of sound bites and the social media team will begin to project it. Oh, this is what he has said. But beyond it, ask him for the experience, the reason for so saying, the experience, the knowledge of so saying is not there. So the issue is, I bring some of those guys who have manifesto, interrogate them, ask them one page from their manifesto, take a quotation from this things I published, and ask them, then you can see whether it's original or not, whether it's autochthonous or not. My positions come from a lifetime of experience, a lifetime of preparation. And so this manifesto exists. They exist in each statement I've made on water, on electricity, on education, on healthcare, on rural healthcare, on collaboration between Southeasterners, and why that should be so. And there's a consistency in this narrative over the 5 or 6 months I have campaigned. So to ask about, where is the manifesto? It's just that the manifesto is in the public statements I have made, and the document is here. The issue is public presentation. Do I want to do public presentation, or don't I want to do it? The timing is my own, for me to decide.
So I think if I will chip in one or two, we have virtually a week to the elections, and I think it should be, if there's any time right for your manifesto to be on public, it should be now. If it's made public now, whoever wants to copy, I don't think it will do much damage, but it will do you more good having your manifesto, all these things you're seeing right now, reeled out in infographics for people to be able to see, for people to be able to so when they get to listen to this space over time, they can also put a picture to all these things you've been saying. So please, I think it is very, very, very important your manifesto should be out there, especially for people in diaspora. people that are in diaspora that want to come back home. We want to hear you. We want to see. We want to listen. They want to, okay, this guy has said this stuff. Can we read his manifesto? And just for the fact that, yes, you have a manifesto, it should be out there in the public. That's just my own 2 cents, though. But that is back for you to say, do what you want to do, though. But let's move on to the next question. Or you want to reply me, sir?
I appreciate your advice. It's even in infographics. It's in the infographics as an advice. It's here right here. We'll push it out.
Please do.
With
Your handle, that would be perfect, sir.
We'll try. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, Ada.
Thank you.
Ada
Thank you so much, Emir Saddam. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I've been looking forward to it because I have been one of those who had some misgivings about the candidacy of Barrister Chijioke Edeoga, especially when I heard, just like you said, that he had no manifesto, and I didn't know where to find his manifesto. It came across to me as if he was one of those Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi's, Enugu State is in the hands of God nonsense mentality again, where there is no accountability, where somebody is trying to avoid being held accountable for something he said. So I'm glad that I've heard him now, reassure us or tell us that he does really have a manifesto. And like I agree with you totally, Emir Saddam, that this is the time to share it. There's no other time. We are 1 week, and if people are still asking, it's not a good thing that people are still asking where is his manifesto. It's not a good thing at all. We should have confidence in it. Then I just want to say, because Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi plunged Enugu State into the doldrums of despair. He took Enugu State like 20 years back. I mean, we have never been more traumatized by a governor like we are by Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. So we just want somebody who will totally overhaul that, somebody who is happy to be held accountable for his actions in the next 4 years. So the question I want to ask is, Honorable Edeoga, sir, how do you intend to get Enugu State from consumption to production? I've heard everything you've said about agriculture, water, the schools, this and that, so many things, but I want to zero in, sir. Can you pick one thing you intend for Enugu State to start producing? Because that is the foundation of Labour Party. That is one of the most important aspects of the obedient movement, is converting the Nigerian economy, in your case, Enugu State economy, from consumption to production. So what can we start producing? Can you name one thing you intend for Enugu State to start producing? And that thing we should hold you responsible for in 4 years' time, that you can tell us, go and verify, like Peter B has been telling us, and we're able to verify, and we're able to say, yes, he said he was going to do this, he did it. This is the evidence of it.
Ada, don't be fight, no be fight.
Sorry. I
understand the energy.
I just have a high-pitched, energetic voice. Sorry about that.
I believe you, my sister.
Sorry,
continue,
because
please.
forgive me. I'm in diaspora.
Continue, my dear. Just continue. I just energy.
Sorry, I'm just an energetic person. So I'm in diaspora, but anything that happens to Enugu, I'm from Enugu State, it bothers me, pains me, like I've been crying, shedding tears. I want to see a turnaround. So tell us one thing, sir, that we can hold you responsible for in 4 years' time, to say, in the aspect of being a productive economy, this is the one thing you can say, go and verify, and we'll go and verify, and it would have been done in the next 4 years. Thank you so much.
Production, are you there? Production, in the sense that you are asking, it has become really a private sector activity. Enugu State, under me, is going to emphasize agriculture. Agriculture is the pathway to the creation of a new wealth base. We are going to encourage agriculture. We're not going to basically go into production. What are we producing? Is it light bulbs, or is it what? We are going to create an environment for production to thrive. I've said that before. But we are going to basically get involved with agriculture. The entire agricultural sector will have our attention. Poultry farmers, Enugu is one of the biggest areas where poultry farming happens in Nigeria. But they complain of lack of government attention and support. I'm going to support them to find out what it is that ails them, and what ought to be done for them to expand and move into have the necessary support, and do the things they cannot do. For instance, hatcheries, and help them with feed meals and all that. But it's going to be basically private sector driven. There are piggeries in Enugu State. I've interfaced with them all over Enugu State. There are bodies of persons who are involved in piggery. What happens, as far as I know, is that they'll go and carve out a place, and gradually over time, people begin to inch towards them, and then sooner than later, they begin to complain that those farmers are polluting the environment. So, with regards to piggery, we are going to take time to find out areas, large swaths of land, where they can properly settle and with relevant certificates given to them, so that encroachment over the years or in the years to come will become almost impossible. So there are several sectors. There's a poultry, there's piggery, there are even, so with regards to things like palm trees, we are going to make sure that we invest in from nursery to growth by acquiring land. Part of the problem in Enugu State is land. There are even government lands that have issues of ownership. So we're going to streamline ownership issues and make sure that we're going to streamline ownership issues and make sure that land is available and that materials that will help from nurture, seedlings from nurture to growth, fertilizers, ownership issues, mechanizations are available. So we are going to make sure that palm tree seedlings are acquired from NIFO initially, from Edo State initially, until we are in a position to nurture them ourselves in Enugu State. We're also going to emphasize wholesale and soccer. Each area, each part of Enugu State has something that with government support, government backup, it can grow exponentially. Wholesale and soccer is a major issue around soccer. The interest to grow it is there, but they also need government support in terms of maybe access to their farms, and then one or two other things that the government needs to do to support them. So government will support the agricultural sector to grow by removing inhibitions to growth, by creating enabling environment. We are going to get the communities or individuals to partner with government in expanding the number of seedlings that are grown in Enugu State, maybe over time from maybe 10,000 or 5,000 to 10,000 incrementally over the years, as we acquire land, as we acquire materials to help us clear the land. Part of the problem with agriculture in Enugu State is the nature of our land. The lands there's a substantial number of big trees that need to be removed for things to happen. So we are going to maybe bring in bulldozers and bring in tractors, either on a PPP level or encourage individuals to bring them in. So government support will be available for, you're asking of things that we need to, so production is not, as I've said, production is for the private sector. We're going to encourage them, those who produce, like Innocent. Government will give them support. The support we'll give to people who produce is that we're going to create an enabling environment. We're going to reduce taxation to the minimum. We're going to fight multiple taxes. We're going to work on our legal framework so that legal issues are resolved. Any way that government can support entrepreneurs, Innocent, Gabros, all those who are minded to produce in Enugu, will support them. But I'm not promising you that government will get directly involved in production, but we are going to create the enabling environment for producers to thrive. But the other aspect where government is going to get involved, which I'm assuring you, is agriculture. For instance, we are going to be involved with multiplication of palm seedlings in their hundreds of thousands in Enugu State. So what you can take away from here is, for instance, that in 4 years, I have promised you that hundreds of thousands of palm seedlings would have been brought in from NIFO in the Delta and then Edo State, where the government has collaborated with CBN to multiply seedlings. We are going to make sure that citizens are encouraged to nurture these things to growth. We're also going to get involved with wholesale soccer. We're also going to get involved with multiplication of rice farms in Adani, in Ihamufu, in Aniri, in Amagunze. So we're going to focus on agriculture in the ways that I've itemized. We are going to support production in the ways I've itemized. All the hurdles that stop people from optimizing, reaching the optimum in Enugu are going to be addressed by looking at legal framework, by making by reducing taxation, by looking at the hurdles that affect producers in Enugu State and reducing them as much as possible, by welcoming those who are outside Nigeria and those who are in Lagos or other big cities who want to come home in order to expand our economic world base. Thank you, Oliako, or the J's daughter. I agree.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes, so I have one question here. It's from Real Jerry Ed. He says, please help me ask, what plans do you have to make Akanu Ibiam Airport a functional international airport? I don't know if that's a question you'd like to answer, sir.
Definitely. The position of the Akanu International Airport falls clearly into my plan to make Enugu State a hub, the takeoff point for southeastern Nigeria and Renaissance. Even in government, I was the person who was constantly reminding the governor about the need to upgrade international airports to the point that on the day that the federal government clamped down on the airport for no removal of a market, for no relocation of masts, for other issue of land, I was the person that governor summoned to craft our response and to organize our response to that. So I'm fully conscious of the need to develop the international airport to its maximum potential. As a person, ordinarily, I've gone to FAN to interface with the airport manager, and he has told me the things that needs to be done. For instance, there's the issue of land, the land tussle around the runway. The community issue has not been resolved that affects the runway. If that issue is resolved, the runway issue will be resolved. There's the lack of completion of the major office. The major office that contracts has been awarded, is ongoing, but is sluggish. If a push is given for a big office that is already located there, the necessary facility, part of what is needed would have been done. There's also night landing facility. That is also part of the problem they told me. Night landing facility, issue of tussle with the Air Force over land, issue of tussle with the community that impedes on the proper expansion of the runway, and then location of cargo. There's something they told me about cargo. So these things are things that a governor who is focused on giving the international Akanu Ibiam its proper space, its proper what we do. So I'm going to collaborate with the federal government to make sure that the challenges of land, for instance, the governor can act decisively on resolving the land issue with the airport. That's the fact that has not been resolved is a major issue. I promise here, I affirm here that when I become governor, I'll move quickly to resolve the land tussle that airports people, the fan, has with Nike people that has affected the proper expansion of the runway. There are issues with the Air Force. That one we were also trying to resolve when I was in government, but it was not moving at the pace it ought to move, because I think that maybe the governor does not really, or did not really understand the place of that airport within the Igbo effort to help ourselves. So the problems of itemized are what I have found that on a personal note, going to the airport, interacting with the fan officials, even before Ethiopian Airlines began to come to Enugu, I was part of the people who are pressurizing for the international, that's an airline to come to Enugu. And I know that what we ought to do for other airlines to come in. I've made inquiries. So when I become governor, my interest in that airport has been sufficiently explained by the details I've given. Before the state government gave orders for the market to close, for the mast to be relocated, I was already pressurizing the governor that we should focus on that airport. And on the day that the federal government clamped on that airport, it was me, the governor, called to address our response, to craft our response. And immediately we began to move to demolish the market and reallocate the mast that was in the way. Beyond that, I regularly go to the airport to interface with the managers, the woman who was there before, and the man who replaced her, on what do we do so that Akanibiam will have a pride of place. They have told me that the cargo section will need to come. That cargo section will not come until the building that is going up now, being done by CCC or something, is completed. The issue of runway is an obstacle because there's a land tussle with Nika people and the military, which the governor was also trying to resolve, but maybe it was not moving fast enough. Even as a commissioner, I kept on pushing the commissioner for land, Dr. Victor Nam, to make sure that he moved quickly in the resolving the problem with the Air Force so that the airport will come fully to being. There's also the issue of night landing. The runway is okay virtually, but the night landing facilities have not been installed. So I think these explanations I've given gives you an indication that I've been focused on that airport over time, even as just a commissioner or just an ordinary citizen. So when I become governor, I'll move quickly to make sure that this airport becomes a hub. If it means that Enugu state government will pay for night landing facilities, we'll pay for it. If it means that we are going to complete that building so that it will designated cargo area, we'll do it. So whatever obstacles that remain, whatever challenges that remain, I affirm here categorically that it's a major part of my plan for Enugu people to bring in businesses, other airlines, Emirates, Delta, whatever, that will augment what Ethiopian Airline is doing now. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so very much for that wonderful explanation and answer. Nne, you have the mic now.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Your Excellency. Well, my name is Nene and I'm from Akon. I joined just when you're answering questions with respect to teachers and education generally in Enugu State. And being a daughter of a retired primary school teacher, trained by the longest serving secondary school principal in Enugu State, I must say disappointed in your response. Your response was more of a punitive measure than providing solution. My mom retired in 2019, and as I speak to you, she's yet to get her benefit. My older brother is actually a co-host in this case. She's yet to get her benefit. She's got salary for 20 months. So I almost logged out when you were saying if they don't go to work, that's not why they didn't go to work. These people are already demotivated. They are. Another last weekend, I was speaking with a very close friend of yours who has been campaigning for your position. And I told him that you don't have any problem with India. In fact, any will not generally. You have no problem because you're going to get almost 100% vote. But then I have an issue. Then I told him about my mother being old, and nothing has been done about that. But that's by the way. By the nature of my job, I run trainings worldwide. And I noticed that most times when we're in Enugu at the airport, I see women wearing uniforms. You know, I just like, what is happening? What are they doing there? They have come to receive what I called the high-profile politicians. Chijioke, please could you tell us how you intend to stop our women from being used as object of decoration for politicians when they land at any airport. That's the area I want to focus on now. Hopefully you're going to win. I like when you say when I become governor. Of course you will. It's our prayer that you become governor. Enugu North is solidly behind your candidature. When you win, then we can come up with other measures you can use. Because when you mentioned having health mission every now and then, no, it's not sustainable. Sustainability is in tackling the environment, not those infectious diseases come up from. But that's by the way. So could you please tell us, I need you to be specific, how you intend to stop the average from being decorative objects of receiving politicians or high-profile visitors in that Academy International Airport. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. In the context of an interview, you cannot exhaust everything. Of course, payment of pensions and gratuity of those who have served as teachers can be, should be a reason, one of the reasons. But it's not something that comes to mind immediately. When you are asked what to do about education, well, your mind will go to those who go to school, the classroom, the teachers, and all that. So, but it's true that the issue of pensions is a demoralizer. It's a demoralizer. So we are going to attend to. My mother is also a teacher. My father was also a teacher. So I understand all that. But we are going to try to tackle the pension issues. But it has become a huge issue now because for several years nothing has been done. So we must look at the creative ways to address them. But there are things that stare us in the face with regards to the primary school education and secondary education, which are barriers to students attaining the optimum. So I'm sorry that I didn't mention pension and gratuity. My mother has also the challenge of her pension and gratuity not being paid at all. Then, you know what you need to do about women going to the airport. Sometimes it's by choice. So sometimes they go there by choice. Sometimes they are asked. They are asked to go there. Maybe a political person is coming, and then a woman who are asked to go there. So if it's something that people feel strongly about, you know, maybe you live abroad and you have a sense of human rights and all that. There are some people who see it as an opportunity to come to the town and look around. So if those people think that they don't like it, the governor will be minded to gradually de-escalate. But if a sense of human rights for people vary depending on their exposure and where they're coming from. But if it's something you feel strongly about, I will have to bring this up for discussion. I will know whether we'll gradually stop it. But what I've said before and everywhere is that teachers, those who ought to be in their schools, those who ought to be in their offices, will never again be part of those jamborees. If you are supposed to be in your classroom, I will not invite you. You will not be invited to Barr Square for any of those things we are talking about, or even going to the airport. If you are a civil servant, of course, you have no reason not to be in your office, even if something bigger than the president of Nigeria is coming. So we are going to gradually, change comes gradually sometimes. So we begin to do it, attend to it gradually. We're going to remove teachers, we're going to remove nurses, we're going to remove public servants. Maybe those who have nothing else to do can go as a way of averting boredom and something like that. So I understand what you're saying. We'll look at it, but teachers will not be part of it. Public servants, no. Civil servants, no. But those who are not fully engaged, if they want, can do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. In the building, we have your colleague from Abia State, Alex Oti. Alex Oti is going to be, I think he might probably just come up to say hi, but we're going to have a space with him on Tuesday. For you guys on the platform on Tuesday, we'll have a space with Alex Oti. So please tune in for that one also. But probably he's going to come up and say hi any moment from now. But let's go back to Mr. Chijioke. Mbadi, I don't know who's going next.
Okay. Josh, LP.
Please, if you're
Okay,
on
Josh, LP. Yeah.
Okay, Mbadike, thank you so much. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you. Go on.
Okay, Barrister Chijioke, you are someone that I so much have love for, even when you were a commissioner for local government. Then I was the deputy chairman. But my fear now is there is issue that I've been having in Enugu, issue of cabal in government house. And you have a good at, but that cabal issue that we've been trying to expunge out of this Enugu government house, a consistent is always surface in every administration. So I had experience when what we were doing then was I was not okay with it, so I had to travel out. I had a plan of I'm from Aniri. we farm rice, so I had a plan of investing in a rice milling machine with my wife's friend. So we planned going down to Enugu. So I have friends in government house, but the cabal, the guy felt so because for a white to invest in a state, they will try to at least say hi to government house or discuss with the governor because they're trying to spend huge amount of money. But the cabal in government house frustrated the efforts and everything just ended. I don't know if you have any plan of dislodging those cabal so that people can get access to you directly because you are someone that have you don't have all these bodyguard, don't follow you. I know you very well. But a post of governor is always they try to hijack it from up. So that is my fear, and if you can assure us, because whoever that is outside will try to invest in his states. But if you have a plan of investing and someone is to frustrate you, you will not have investing again. So that is my question. Thank you.
Yeah, I understand what you are trying to say. What you call cabal in government house must really be the governor not interested in something. Because if the governor is really interested in the matter, he will attend to it. And if over time a governor notices that there's somebody or someone or some people whose actions and conducts are not in consonance with his vision or his plans, he will act to remove those persons. He will act to create access to persons he wants to create access to. So a governor who dissembles, who plays tricks, for instance, can hide behind cabal as a reason for his actions or inactions. Even when I look at government house now, I don't imagine where the cabal could be or where it will be located or who will constitute the cabal. All of them are appointees of the governor. They serve at his instance. So most likely the governor is the cabal. I don't realize it. So of course, yes, there's a definite anti-development mindset in government. Because when I was commissioner, somebody who has high standing in Enugu State wanted to bring a medical center to Enugu State, and he was frustrated. I noticed that the government, or let us say the government, was not interested in supporting that man's initiative or plan to bring in a medical center, a major hospital. I noticed that there was effort. He was frustrated. That hospital is not there now, which means that the man was frustrated. And I was wondering, and I tried my best. I did all I could to make sure that project was allowed to come into Enugu. And it failed. So it's a question of leadership and values and a sense of what needs to be done. I also know, let me also tell you that I had an encounter when I was in government with the man who owns GIG Motors. He met me somewhere in Enugu in his first club and told me that somebody asked him to go and meet me as the person who will help him to realize a dream he has nurtured for more than 10 years of building a hub in Enugu, a transport hub. He has acquired the land, but successive governments, even under Sullivan Chime, they didn't allow him to build a hub. But the land that he has acquired, a hub that will create employment for the people of Enugu State. The man came to me that somebody told him that this is a man of integrity and he will push it for you. And I truly, I pushed that project for him. I got the people at Enugu State Capital Territory to give him the approval. I fought off people from environment, people from Ministry of Land, people from the local government, people from transport, who came with all manners of excuses, trying to frustrate that man from building that home. And by the grace of God, through my instrumentality, through my support, that hub was built as a beautiful place now, and is a place where all transport belonging to GIG takes off from Enugu. So if I was not focused and determined at this point in time, that project would have failed. So I think it's about leadership. I think it's about the vision that one brings to service and your determination to do good. And that determination will influence the kind of persons that you bring to bear to serve with you. Your commissioners, your aides will reflect your mindset. So if it's a mindset that is pro-production, pro-integrity, pro-transparency, it will radiate down the line. And if there's anyone who is not in consonance with that mindset, the person will be kicked out. So the cabal in Enugu exists if the governor indulges them or indulges it. I'm not going to indulge any cabal. I think part of the effort that has been, part of the energy that has been generated, that has been mobilized against me, is because a lot of persons know or suspect that I'm not going to be amenable to any kind of cabalism. I'm not going to be a surrogate. I'm not going to be a pocket radio of any manipulator, no matter how highly placed. The people of Enugu State are the people I'm going to serve with utmost intensity and with fear of God.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on real quick. We'll try and mix it. We'll be having guys. Let's take a lady. Only if you're a lady, you can speak. If you're not a lady, I will drop you for using a lady's picture. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Ms. Adam.
God bless
Good
you.
evening. Good evening, Barrister Chijioke Edeoga. Yeah, I have one simple and straightforward question. What are you going to do about the mess that is Enugu Ministry of Lands, so that there will be transparency when people buy their land or whatever, they will have their documentation as quickly as possible? Thank you.
We are going to impose the benefits of modern technology. You know, the filing system, for instance, the filing system in Enugu is still like 19th century. If you go there, they'll have to start looking for your files, and most times they are misplaced. Persons who have interest in your files, they take them home, they destroy them, they misplace them, they build new files. So I think what we'll have to do is, first of all, to create a filing system that is not amenable to removal and destruction, retrieval of documents. Even documents that will help people establish ownership sometimes are removed. So we are going to use the benefit of technology to make sure that we upgrade our landing, registration, documentation, payment, storage of material, basically everything, even the mapping, the GIGS or something they call it, is going to basically come in, but it's expensive. We try to do it, bring it in. When I was involved in government, but the charges were very high. So, but we are going to do it incrementally. We are going to look for people who have knowledge and experience in land matters and put them in charge, and then gradually bring in technology. The filing system, the storage system, the documentation system, all of them will go online gradually. so that the movement of files, fiscal files, will go. Then if there are backlog of issues, very bad issues, some of them which I know, we'll set up bodies to address them. We'll have to make sure that people who have complaints have a place to lodge their complaints, and that body will be there for quite some time to make sure that all illegalities, as much as possible, will be addressed. If there are redresses, we'll redress. If there are retrievers, we'll retrieve. But going side by side will be a process to bring in technology with regards to documentation, filing, retriever, storage, archiving. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We're trying to rush the questions now. Emeka, Emeka, you have the space, please. Fast your question.
Emeka, actually. All right, thank you very much. Good evening, Barrister Edeoga. From Thursday, I was so impressed with all you said on Thursday. And a follow-up to that, because I didn't get to ask a question that day. I'm a big fan of P2B, so that's what P2B's factor is why I'm interested, because he said a lot of things about anyway, let me just go back to my question. The whole thing about land, because some persons have talked about land here, and there is one thing that P2B is known for about acquisition as a state governor, some of the things that are tempting. And I don't know, because we all know, I'm from Enugu, so I know that the 3 governors that we've had since 1999, they've really done some things in terms of acquisition of certain properties. The one in my mind is the one along the express. So for this, I don't know, is allegedly owned by the current governor. So I don't want you to go into that because that's a sensitive question. But in terms of communities that are having disputes for one land issue or the other, I say when you are elected, because I believe that you're going to win, when you are elected, how are you going to control yourself how are you going to control yourself not to try to maneuver or use state powers to own such properties? And I think let me stop here for now.
It just boils down to values. It just boils down to values. If you have values, if you have a sense of why we are here in this world, if you have a sense of for instance, legacy, you will not use the governor's office to acquire land for yourself. Because, I mean, how many plots of land are you going to live on? How many? So if I'm somebody who is going to acquire land when I become governor, Enugu State people would have known now. There will be a track record of acquisition trailing me. I've been commissioner for 7 years, member House of Reps, chairman of local government, presidential advisor. If there's evidence of greed or lust or love of land or acquisition or the love of money for money's sake, those things would have come up. So if I've been if I've been parsimonious all my life, why would I continue to be parsimonious? Now that even more so now that I'm aware that a large part of the ill feeling that is being generated towards Governor Ifeanyi is because of because his name is attached to acquisition. I don't believe in acquisition. I'm actually indifferent to material things. So I reassure you, I affirm categorically that I will even those areas that I the focus on land or the land that is really because we're not a planning people. Land is almost, Enugu State is infinite, almost, so to say. So if we expand towards Arbor from Transekulu, we have land for people to live in, do their build on. If we expand towards Ugogo and Opi, once we put a dualizer road, there'll be enough land. If we expand towards Emene, after Emene, towards Ihamufu, on both sides, there'll be enough land. The problem is the fixation on what the white men created. The white men created the Defense South, GRA, and maybe Jim Wood who did it. So we can expand, we can move beyond what we have now. And all this tussle, all this aggrandizement will reduce. So, so basically, it's not my nature to aggrandize. Some of them, after being governor, without any shame, without any sense of self, will move into a government property. For instance, Sullivan Chime, after being governor, moved into a house that is reserved Attorney General's, one of the choicest property in Enugu State. It doesn't. No, there's no sense of out. There's no feeling that it's not right. There's no sense that what people who pass these buildings, what will they be saying about me? What will they be thinking? Will they be generating love towards you or infamy? You move from a modest apartment your father left for you in Owane, you move into the biggest property in Enugu State. If the white men, if the former attorney generals have taken over that land, will he take it? Will he move into it? The same thing for people who have taken over the house meant for speakers, the house meant for all manner of people in Enugu State. So it's background. His background is in the DNA. So Peter Obi is an example that you can finish being governor and not move into government property. So even Chijioke did it all over, took virtually everything and says monetization. So it's not my character. It's not my character to acquire the things I don't need. From when I was young, my upbringing, my background, I've been content. Contentment is the key word. I've been brought up to be content and to organize my life around what's available and what I can defend. So if I become governor, I'm going to be a model. I'm going to be exemplary in and out of office of how it ought to be done. Peter Obi has become the icon now because even in office and out of office, he has organized his mindset to be a model. Tinubu is not a model. He moved from a modest apartment somewhere into Bodilon, the biggest place in Lagos. It's not right. You don't push yourself to become a servant of people so you can lord it over them. Sullivan is not a model, no matter how much he postures. He's not a model. He shouldn't have moved into that government property. He doesn't own it, and you cannot ascribe a property to yourself. It's not right for you to ascribe a government property to yourself. So Edeoga will be a model of life in service and life after governorship. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope this is a recorded space, and we will hold you to all your words on this platform today. But thank you, sir. Let's move on real quick. Barr Exterminator, you have the space, please, real quick.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for having me on. There's been an engaging discussion so far. So my question is on urban expansion, right? So Enugu State has witnessed population explosion for the past years. And this population, these new entrants into Enugu are absorbed in middle-class residential areas, for example, like Transekulu. You know, this has caused so much traffic because the roads are actually fashioned for or built for about 5,000 to 20,000 population. That was like the initial and original plan. Now we're having a population of about 100,000, you know? So my question is this: how do you plan to, you know, expand the urban areas and the road networks beyond the conventional breaking of, you know, structures, you know, done by Ugwanyi's administration, spearheaded by Joseph Ono? How do you plan to expand existing urban areas? Thank you.
I'm looking immediately at between Abo and Transekulu, there is a vast expanse of beautiful land. All you need to do is to connect Transekulu to Abo. Once you open up that road, what we need to do is to open up that road. If we open up that road, all that vast land between Transekulu and Abo is available for expansion. It's a beautiful. It has several lakes, about 7 lakes, and beautiful environment and beautiful flora and fauna. So I'm thinking, even the people of Abo are intense in their lobby that road should be created. So in my mind, is one of the things we need to do so that Trans-Ekulu can move towards Abo and towards what we call Enugu. I'm also thinking that if we dualize, when I was in government, I kept on insisting that the government, Governor should dualize the Nike OP road, Ugogo Road. I kept on insisting that road should be dualized. Even when we came in, it was available to be dualized because all the things on both sides have been cleared. But he hesitated and people began to build in. So I think that if there is money, I'm going to dualize that road. I'm going to dualize that road and nudge development, find a way of not pushing development towards the Ugogo, the OP, Ego axis to merge with where Peace is doing university and make sure, and it helps with ease of transport to Nsukka. Moving with a mind to merge Nsukka and Ugogo area. I also have a mind to dualize the Emene Kalagu Road to meet the point where the governor of Ebonyi stopped. Governor Ebonyi has dualized his own almost up to our border. We are going to dualize our own. If we dualize it, traffic congestion will ease, and the vast areas on both sides, left and right, towards Ebonyi State, will be available for relocation of markets and residential buildings. So I'm thinking in that direction. I'm not going to emphasize the Amich area again, the Obago area again, the Ugwaji area again, because it's a substantial part of the baggage that Ifeanyi Ugwayi has is the involvement with Obago land, Ugwaji land, and all that. And I promise them that I'm going to de-emphasize, de-escalate government interference with their land. So what is left for now on interim is immediately is the Abo area behind Trans-Ekulu towards Abo, OP, Ugogo towards Nsukka, if we dualize the road, Emene towards Ebonyi, if we dualize the road. But in the long term, we are going to create a settlement, a big place around Oji River. At the point where Oji River meets Anambra State, the intersection between Oji River and Anambra State, there might be a big hub, a big development that attracts those from Anambra State or those who work in Anambra and prefer to live in Enugu, and those in Enugu who want to go to work in Anambra and come back. So I'm envisaging that sometime in the future, the merger between Anambra State and Enugu will happen if we consciously nudge the development towards the Oji River, create the necessary environment, markets, businesses, roads, and land acquired and given at no cost to people from Anambra, Enugu, and anybody who wants to live in that kind of Obiako. The Obiako idea that they try to do it between Port Harcourt and Abia. We can replicate around Oji River axis so that attracting people from Anambra, people from Enugu, a kind of Pan-Anambra, Pan-Igbo settlement, quite huge, massive. That's how my mind is working in that area.
Is that how your manifesto is working too, sir?
Yes.
All right, because it's important. Please, that manifesto should be made public for us as quick as possible. Thank you. All right, let's move on real quick. Ezechi Emeka, Peter is better. You have the space, please. Real quick.
Okay, my governor, good evening, sir. I am supposed to come to Enugu this week to be one of the super agents in Ako, because I'm from Ako, because I want you to win. But I have a challenge. Your response so far in this interview has been very, very wonderful, and I want to go to the challenge. The challenge I have is that from 9th Mile to OP Junction, the road is very terrible. And that's my major challenge of going to Ako. And that is the major reason why I personally have been against Martin Soke, who is still our House of Rep candidate, House of Rep member up to this moment. He lost last election. So, sir, I know the road is not it's not a state road, but we have not seen attempts. If somebody is making an attempt, it's also very important. If we are seeing 100% attempts, but not seeing results, we understand this person is actually working towards this thing. So, sir, please, I want to beg you You can do a lot for us in making sure that you fix that road by pushing the federal government to do the right thing in fixing that road. And if possible, some other roads within our identity. Because this government that is living, this Mrs. Ugwany, has not been able to do anything for us at Igbetiti. And it's very painful to all of us here. I'm begging you. And finally, please, sir, I want to beg you, those of us who are like doing our PhD program, if you have a program for us, so that something like a bursary or something like an incentive for our academic program, it is not easy. But finally, please, I beg you, please, your safety is very paramount to us. Please, take care of your safety. We love you. Together, we must achieve that greater Enugu that we desire. God bless you. I hear the mic.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the issue of my security is something that agitates the minds of so many people. And I'm praying and hoping that God will touch the hearts of people who want to injure an innocent man. Ultimately, our security is in the hand of God. I will not say that, oh, that train is a federal road. We're not going. No. That excuse will not come up. But I just want to inform you that there are two roads that lead in that direction you're talking about. One goes through Abo and Umurumbe and all that. And okay, that road has been awarded. That road has been awarded. Part of why I was mindful, I was quite insistent that Ogorinwa, who was in the House of Reps, should continue in National Assembly, is that he has played a key role in securing that contract. And his continued presence in National Assembly will help in making sure that funds are allocated, because he had to look for a special vehicle in the Ministry of Finance to accommodate that road. And so his continuation in National Assembly will help. The other road that goes through Ebe and the older federal road is the terrible state, really bad state. The one that comes out in front of Obede is in a very bad state. Not too long ago, I was trapped there in the night. The roads have developed very big gullies. But I think that even at that, a thinking government, a government with empathy, should not just fold its hands. What we are going to do is really push and to ask the federal government to come and take up its responsibility. This push will be through lobby, and through other avenues of engagement. For instance, the media. We are going to use the media maximally to embarrass if need be, or to encourage if need be, or to coerce if need be, for the federal government to carry out its obligations to our people in Enugu or the Southeast. You cannot aggrandize roads and say it's federal road, and then begin to pick and choose the ones you are going to do. And if you put it on the balance, you will see that Southeast has the smallest number of federal roads, and it has the biggest roads that is not done. It's not right. So we're going to make sure that we put the federal government on the spotlight to do the things it ought to do for our people, or to disengage from the roads. But if before then, we ameliorate. Just bring in bulldozers, bring in some money to touch up the really bad places. Because not all the places are bad on that road. There are places that are okay. There are places that are fair. There are places that are absolutely impassable. The places that are absolutely impassable, the Edeoga government will address them. Bring in bulldozers, bring in all stuff, and then and make sure that they are motorable. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Sir, I don't know, Mr. Chijioke, your people in the background are disturbing me, but honestly, we have close to 70 people that still want to ask you questions, and we have hundreds of questions. So that is why it's very important for your manifesto to be out there. So you can always refer people to your manifesto to go and see, and most of the questions here that have been answered, they can easily go there for reference. So please, sir, you're still going to indulge us for long. I don't know how long you want to go, but we scheduled today for you. I think you should be able to spend more time with your people from Enugu. They want to discuss with you. But you're going to spare me just 2 minutes or 5 minutes. In our midst here is the incoming governor of Abia State, Mr. Alex Oti. I think you guys were together 2 days ago or so. I don't know. But Mr. Alex, welcome, sir. Good evening. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. Good evening. Your Excellency, how are you doing?
It's good to have you here. It's good to have you here, sir. Good to have you here.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm not going to take so much of time because I know that today is for my brother Chijioke. Just to say hello and yield the space for him. It's very good to be here. I have my manifesto out there, and I believe if it is tomorrow or Tuesday that I'll be interacting with you, I would like to point your attention to my manifesto. All you need to do is go to www.alexoddi.com, and then you will see where it leads you to download manifesto. It's a 42-page document, and it will show up on your device free of charge. And you can take your time to read and then prepare for your questions anytime I'm coming on board again. I understand it was supposed to be Tuesday, but I've requested for it to be tomorrow. So if tomorrow works, then again.
All right, so, let's see. I'm going to talk with your people at the back channel. Probably tomorrow. If it's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be from 8 p.m. I don't know if that's fine with you.
I would not be available for 8 p.m. If it can be earlier, that would be fine.
So I think we should leave it for Tuesday, please.
So is that 8 p.m. tomorrow or Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can move things around, and I would come back to you through my people.
Okay, great, sir. Good to hear from you, sir. Thank you very much for the time.
All right, yeah, have a lovely
All right,
evening.
let's go back. Let's go back to Mr. Chijioke. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. All right, Mr. Chijioke, let's come back to you to our discussion. Let me take the next speaker from Enugu. Let's go with Chijioke. How are you doing today? Good evening.
Good evening. I'm fine, and thank you, Mayor Sadam, for the good work you've done. To my brother, my big brother, Chijioke. Good evening, sir. My name is Chijioke, and I'm from Ibagwaka. I'm sure you know the town well. You have a friend there too. First of all, I'm very happy that you have publicly repudiated the character traits of some of your predecessors. You told us how you have nothing to do with the Ebano gang war. You have nothing to do with the one who is appropriating government property. You have nothing to do in terms of emulating the current governor and his lethargy, ways. Now I'm happy about that. Now, but what my business right now with you, sir, is to share some intels with you. I'm a journalist, by the way, and I had some information, and of course, this is a kind of developing. It has been happening. It's something I've laid as grand plan, because I'm trying to tell you some of the landmines already put in place by these guys who are trying to dislodge, to make sure that your money do not materialize. Sir, are you aware that this government in Enugu State had pushed all manner of thugs to become local government chairman, manner of stuff, holding different positions, just preparatory to this election, just putting them there to activate them and by way of violence to ensure that people do not come out to vote free and fair. So now, please, I'm asking, how are you going to assure our people that you will be there, that you are going to have something in place to ensure that people are safe to come out and vote that day and get home safely. And of course, that their votes count. That is more important to me because, look, I came into the optimism that you are our next governor, but I'm also looking at the landmines put in place by these guys because I know they are formidable, but the will of the people are more formidable. So are you the space? That's just my question, sir.
Okay, Chidi, my dear friend. Chidi, thank you so much for the consent.
Yes, sir.
Of course, I know you. Lots of your family. We're like family. I understand your concern, and there is the concern of quite the gradual or incipient or apparent or evident or the suspicion that the electoral process is going to be affected negatively by infusion of thugs is a matter that concerns lots of people in Enugu State now. It's an issue that people have spoken to me about, called me out on, and it's quite a matter that people are apprehensive about. I've taken up this matter with the director of the DSSS. I've taken up this matter with the GOC. I've taken up this matter with the director of military intelligence. I've taken up the matter with the commissioner of police in Enugu State. I've taken up this matter with the director of civil defense. And they all assure me that they have received marching orders from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to ensure free and fair election in Enugu State. I have nothing else to do except to believe and to hope that these gentlemen, who are men of high standing and honor and integrity, and are professionals of high standing, that they will do what they have promised that they will do. Additionally, I've sensitized our people. I've sensitized our youth. I've sensitized our voters. I've sensitized our Enugu State people to be alert and to be fully conscious and make sure that communities are protected because, as they say, vigilance is the price of liberty. So I've encouraged our youth to mobilize and make sure that persons who are not of their communities are not allowed to slip in or invade or are busting into their communities in order to affect negatively the elections. So we have raised the consciousness among the people. We have primed them. We have prepared them to protect their territories and to make sure that persons who ought not to be there, because the federal government, knowing that this is a very serious matter, has even gone ahead to affect the people's right to move freely by imposing restrictions on movement on the day before the voting and on the voting days. So the government, those who have stopped people from entering their communities are really working in concert with the federal government to make sure that elections go free and fair. So I have educated, I have primed, I have warned, I have sensitized, and we have also taken a notch further by informing the military, the statements, broadcast statements on what we have gathered, that are the plans of these enemies of democracy to truncate what should be the free and unfettered expression of our people's will. Thank you. to adhere to. So if there are questions about government spending on any particular thing, we are going to make sure that those things are responded to. So all the laws Nigeria has with regards to transparency and accountability, we are going to adhere to them. So routinely, government expenditures where it does not injure the need for confidentiality and for official secrecy will be published. But I can guarantee that where there are requests for information, honest answers will be provided. Thank you. Then the other one is security. I've said it here before that we are going to reorganize the state, the vigilante. We are going to reorganize the vigilante, and we are going to reinvigorate the vigilante. We are going to professionalize the vigilante so that they have tenure and they have training and they have job security. We are also going to partner with Nigerian police so that logistics for work are given them to augment what they are doing. Of course, I don't like the idea of policemen lining up all the roads at every point. That's exactly part of what led to the answers. The idea of policemen lining up every 10 meters, pretending to be providing security. Meanwhile, they're just embarrassing people or humiliating people or collecting money from them. All the offices of policemen, these police stations are denuded of people. They empty out into the roads. It's not right at all. It offends my sensibilities. And by the grace of God, at the appropriate time, I will tell the commissioners of my police my mind on that matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, let's just go real quick. Uncle Charles, please, in a minute, you can ask your question.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about on the transparency issue, because transparency is a big deal, in terms of people who are in government. They always feel in that respect, not just publishing the budget itself, the expenditure as well. People want to know how the money is being spent. Basically, people are not really, if you're budgeting 10 million for I'm just giving an example, we want to know how the 10 million is being spent, not just we spent 10 million, how is it being spent? We want to know. That transparency is what the people seek for. Secondly is I want to know, how do you intend to bring Enugu youth, the one in terms of not just IT, but agriculture as well? How do you intend to help them to actually form something like SMEs for themselves? When it comes to funds, education or training, exercise, how do you intend to, bring them along? The youth itself, from 18 to 35, basically. Thank you.
All right, let's take a second question, follow up. Chigos, please, in a minute. Thank you.
You really believe that it's because of the Peter B effect?
Okay. Let me just tell you that The popularity I'm getting is I ascribe everything to Peter Obi. Everything I ascribe everything to him. Is that okay?
All right, that's very, very good. In fact, I feel I'm sorry. Mute or not peddle into the Enugu affairs. We should be sure that yes, you are not undermining our effort or the effort of the obedient movement. So or the effort of the obedient movement. So
has been a wonderful one. Your answers to the questions asked to you have been very brilliant. Now, actually, I would have go on and to speak on so many things you've actually said here to elaborate on it, but based on you, I know, and the so many engagements involved, I am also, why I'm speaking now is that I want to beg the people on the space to allow this time you've requested. Maybe we'll reschedule for tomorrow so that we will come back, we'll continue our talk. So, because you've actually spent a lot of time and there are so many other things ongoing on the ground, on the background. For you, I know very, very well. So, but before you move, you said something about in our educational sector of Enugu. Me being an indigenous of Enugu and residing currently in Enugu, working in Enugu, sir, I want to beg you, this is not a question, it's just like a contribution. I want to beg you, when you assume office, there is special grace of God because you're going to win, you've already won self. Please look into IMT and ASU. There is this kind of cabal inside those two schools. The report I get on from those schools every day makes me mad. Starting from high cost of high school fees, tuition fees, starting from extortion, starting from abuse, and what have you. So, sir, I want you to please really look into those two schools and other tertiary institutions owned by Enugu State government. Please look at them, and then let's see a way we can do what make education affordable for the poor. Because these two schools serves a very important purpose in Enugu, and I really want you, if I wouldn't mind bringing out my time, because these two schools, like I'm an ESUTite, I'm a proud graduate of ESUT. So,
engineer, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me just. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Marianne, please in a minute, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Honorable. So I'll go straight to my question. I'm actually let me give a background. I'm actually from Enugu State, so I was not born and brought up there. So I just went through to check if there's any scholarship board for Enugu students, like who I want to if there's any room for scholarship. And then I just saw that the scholarship started in 2012, even though the board had been there for long, but the government of Ifeanyi initiated the whole scholarship in 2012, 2022, sorry, not 12, 2022. So, and then I saw, okay, the number of scholarships that have been given, and then to those people that have been given and on the criteria, I think. But so my question is, are you going to consolidate on, the scholarship scheme? Because I feel it's one of the ways to motivate people to want to study, especially for the tertiary institutions, even for the secondary and primary schools too. And then, but I'm now talking about the tertiary institutions. And also, I saw that, okay, there's no room for, or there was no provision for postgraduates, especially for, and also including the indigenous that are outside the state and are schooled outside the state. Thank you so much. That's my question.
Thank you, my dear. I know that when I was in the government, that occasionally issues of scholarship came up. And sometimes they were given to those who were indigent. Sometimes they were given to those who have performed extraordinary feats. And sometimes the basis on which they were given were not very clear to me. But I know that scholarship has been part of our Igbo, was existent in Igbo land for a long time. Before it was communities that organized it. Later it was state government that organized it, that gave it, awarded it. So we are going to, Enugu State, I'm sure, is one of the richest, it's not one of the richest states, one of the rich states either. But when people deserve scholarships, when somebody has done wonderfully well, that's who the whole Nigeria wants to go for that. Of course, the state should encourage that person. When somebody has done so well as indigent, obviously indigent, verifiably indigent, the state will support the person. So the answer is that scholarships, support for people, for one reason or the other, will continue. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Frank Kachi, please, a minute. Frank Kachi, are you there? All right, Oja.
Can you hear me now?
Please, you have a minute, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, for once of time, all protocol duly observed, please. I'll go straight to my question. I have a lot of questions to ask, but I'll just go straight to the question, please. It has to do with the area of sports in Enugu State. His Excellency, please, I actually want you to tell us your plan, though I've not seen your manifesto, so I don't know what it covers in terms of sports. But I want you to tell us exactly what your plans are in terms of sport development in Enugu State, and also the plans you have for Rangers, especially, because this is a club that is very close to my heart. But as it stands now, Rangers Football Club is as good as dead. Even their facilities, if you go to the stadium, most of them are all dilapidated. So what are your plans for sport development in Enugu State and the Rangers National Football Club? Thank you very much.
All right, Oja. Oja, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay, I just unmuted myself. So I'm actually one of the people who want, LP to thrive because it's like a movement that is trying to change things. So, but sir, to me, you appear unserious and somebody that, doesn't plan. But I'm happy that over the course of the last 2 days, I understand that you've been listening to what people are saying, I've been taking action. So that's very wonderful. So my question is, if you appear to people that you're not planning, how will you be executing all these wonderful things you have when you seem not to plan very well? Like Alex Oti just came on board now, and within 2 minutes or 1 minute he spoke, he gave us a website where we can go and find his things. He's planned out things he's going to do. For the 1 minute he spoke, he sounded very planned, like somebody who really is ready to lead. You appear to me there's just like a typical, politician who will just move with the stream. And
my brother Oja, please ask question, please.
So my question is that if he doesn't plan, how is he going to execute all these wonderful ideas he has? And does he have any life outside politics? Is politics his only career? So let me just stop this. I don't take time.
Okay, Mr. Chijioke, did you hear that?
Yeah, there was a disconnect. I didn't hear him or her.
All right. He asked that you don't. He said you do not plan. That you do not plan. That if you do not plan, that you come across to him as someone that do not plan, and as you come across as someone that does not plan, how do you plan to execute all these your wonderful plans that you have been dishing out here? That's the second question. The first person asked about Rangers, about sports. What are your plans for sports in the state?
Okay, first.
So I asked also about what career do you have outside politics? Is politics your only source of livelihood? Is it your career? Like, what else do you have outside politics?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, let me start with my career. I have been a journalist most of my life, most of my adult life. I practiced journalism from the scratch to the apex of journalism, from a writer to editor to publisher to member. Right now, I am on the editorial board of Daily Trust. Even as I'm here in Enugu, when I go back to Abuja, I resume my seat on the editorial board of Daily Trust. Daily Trust is one of the most influential papers in Nigeria. I'm on that board. I'm also a lawyer. I practice law. Is that okay? So politics is just something that happens. It's not even politics, it's public service. So at this point in time, most time I've been called to serve. I've been called to serve as a presidential aide. I've been called to serve as commissioner. And when I serve, I move on. I return to journalism, basically. Then sports in Enugu State needs to be we have to start from the scratch. We have to start from secondary school sports competition, primary school competition, secondary school competition, then gradually begin to rebuild love and the interest in sports. Then simultaneously, we will try to see whether we can develop even the facilities where these games can happen. Now, there are no facilities. Even this, like I was said initially, the primary school fields have been taken over. The primary school fields have been destroyed everywhere. If you look around now, you see that primary school fields have been compromised. So we have to make sports meaningful again. We really have to start from the scratch. We have to build schools, create new schools where football fields will be beautiful again and well maintained, and make football interesting, or lawn tennis interesting, or table tennis interesting. We are going to then gradually begin to build more stadiums. There's one in Nsukka, one stadium in Nsukka is not enough. We're going to have maybe 1, 2, or 3 more, so that zonal competitions or interzonal competitions can go on. Then we're also going to encourage private sector participation. Even the hotels that we have in Enugu, before, they used to have places for lawn tennis and all that. Other games can go on. Table tennis is not encouraged again. Badminton, not encouraged again. Lawn tennis, not there. So it's not only football. Sports in all its facets used to be the norm in Enugu, or in our primary schools or secondary schools. So gradually, we are going to encourage the competition. But in the course of my investigation, even as a commissioner for local government, I try to inquire why those things don't happen. You see that this idea of complete zero payment of fees, no fees at all are allowed in primary schools. It has affected sports development. Because even if you ask students to put in money to maybe for football or anything, they say it's not allowed. And the money that is budgeted cannot cover everything. So it's something that we all have to work out. We want the best, but we're not ready to make sacrifices of the best. But within the limits of what is available, we are going to begin to encourage competition from amongst primary schools, competitions among secondary schools on football, badminton, table tennis, to begin to rekindle interest again. Then incrementally it will grow. Rangers, of course, is the love of all of us. We also have to work out what we'll do with Rangers, because I know that for most victories in Nigeria, you have to make a lot of plans to win. Victory is not actually gotten on the football field, though. You negotiate those things, you pay money, you do this and that before victory is achieved. If you don't pay money, you go on litigation. So many things that need to be worked out. With regards to rangers, do you have money to sustain it as a government enterprise, or do we privatize it? So we're going to be hard-headed about those things. I will not make a categorical statement on some of these things because most information are not available to my disposal. I love Rangers. I was a Rangers fan when I was growing up. When I was growing up, I knew all the names of all their footballers. Ogiri Babuchi, Beko Onyedika, Dominic, all of them. I knew all of them. I knew who scored, who did not score. Bulldozer. But now the love is going down. All this television and all these things are causing all this Premier League is causing diversion. Love is going down. So the romance of Rangers may be waning, but we can revive it if there is money and all that. If I'm open to ideas anyway on what to do with Rangers. I don't know exactly what to do with Rangers now because I know it took a lot of money to fund it, and if you don't give money if you don't pass money around to the hierarchy in the sports world, you lose. Your team will lose. So there's no transparency in the sports world in Nigeria enough to encourage people to invest heavily in all these things. So it's something that will have to work out with time.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I think with that, we have limited the questions for today. We have spent the last 3.5 hours you being asked questions across different fields. I have a whole lot of people that want to ask you questions, close to 60 requests. My DMs are filled with close to 100 questions already. People are asking me I should ask you, and I cannot ask every question. We cannot bring everybody up, but I will say something. You have been forthcoming with your answers. You have expressed yourself. This is the second day. People that were with us on Thursday can say the same thing. But one thing I will say you should work on is your generation is not your generation and our generation are two totally different generations. You should be able to synergize your strategy with our generation, and that is why I clamored for you having your manifesto up on the internet. It should be a click away. You can send it to us, or we on our platform here. We can post it we have our website. We can post it up for you on the website for everybody in Enugu in diaspora. I want to see your manifesto. They can go there to see it. That is just my only. That if I'm giving any takeaway from this whole conversation is what I think you should do, and if it's possible tonight, it should be done tonight. Apart from that, if you're free for tomorrow 8 p.m., we can go on again for you. Come and engage, and I will say you're playing if it's in a football match on the internet, you are 3-0 down. Yeah, but right now probably you have scored 2 goals. You're still down, you're still back because your opposition have done a whole lot of damage and they have occupied the social media sphere. It is not too late. Your people are coming out. That's why you can see the whole request. People that want to ask you questions, and I believe many questions also from your opponents are also here. They don't want to ask you. Some have come up here to ask you questions too, and you're grateful enough to answer everybody. So I think if you want to come back here tomorrow 8 p.m., we can do that again, probably for 2 hours. Me and my team, we can sacrifice our time, and we don't have spaces on Sundays because one of our brothers hosts no space tomorrow. But we can sacrifice from 8 p.m. for you to have your space and have that time. But if that is too much for you, there is no problem. We are satisfied with all we have had with you for the past 2 days. It has been one entertaining space for me. I know you now as a person that truly you're not just a person without substance as they painted you online before. So guys, I encourage all of you on the platform, please follow his handle, tweet his handle, share his handle. Let us help grow his followership. We on this platform, we are pro LP, but it is important that while we are pro LP, we are pro sensible LP candidates. And you have come out here to prove that you're a sensible candidate. When it comes to the issues, you understand the issues of the state. You understand. I schooled in Enugu. I schooled in UNN, and that is me now just breaking it out. Right? I did not say it all through this period. So I was just listening to you for the past 2 days. You're calling names of places that I know you must know Enugu well to know these places. I am very, 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 very happy with what I've heard from you. That is me, my 2 cents. I don't know too much.
My brothers, Mr. Governor. I mean, sir, you've been so forthcoming, open, and you've really enlightened my eyes. And I think one of the things I noticed, I discovered is this you usually referred back to your track record as chairman of a local government and House of Rep, which is something that is refreshing, which is something Peter B does also, where you say, I've done this, I did this. And there's some answers that you gave that I know some people were not utterly satisfied, but but I can tell you're someone that are also open to ideas. Like, okay, yes, I have a manifesto, I have plans, but this is what I feel. But at the same time, I want to hear, I'm ready for inputs. And I love the fact that you kept clamoring on agriculture. And that's key to me. So thank you so much, sir, for your time. I've never been to Enugu. I've not stepped foot in Enugu, but sir, I know so many places in Enugu now just from the way you've been talking about them. Because I write names of towns and I like to do that. So thank you so much, sir. Godspeed. I know you're gonna win. We can't wait to have you. And I like what you said. You said you're gonna be a model. And that's the goal of the Obedient Movement and Labour parties, where we change the way Nigerians see governance and how Nigerians see people in government, where it's no longer we're going away from the way things were done. And I know it's not easy to come on the space and spend 3 hours and take questions from people that you don't even see at all. And so I want to appreciate your time. I want to appreciate you for doing this. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So really much. I've enjoyed my time here with you. I've learned so much, and I'm looking forward to more time with you. I'm looking forward to being a really good governor of our people. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. If you are free, as I said, our offer is still open. If you're free tomorrow, 8 p.m., we can do it again. If you're free. If you're not free, there's no problem. We have had enough time with you on the violence space.
The team will be there tomorrow. They will be here tomorrow for you. 8 p.m. 8 p.m.
You're going to come 8 p.m.?
Yes, sir.
No problem. Then we'll have you there. You guys have here too. For you that I did not pick you up today, please come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. I'll align your questions. You will come back here. Otumba, you'll be here 8 p.m. You're ready. Governor saying you come next game. So
guys, we're trying to take a break, but I didn't give us one extra week, so
yeah, let's rush it. Let's rush it up. All right, sir. Thank you. You can exit the platform right now. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let's have reactions, guys.
That was I halfway.